All right. What's going on, everyone? Hope you had a good weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And currently, right now, it's going to just be me. So, uh, but Jim Pachi should be coming on later, I guess. I don't know. He'll said he'll text me or call me, and then just go on ahead without him until he's able to join. So, what's up, Spirit Paradox and Emerald Taurus? What's up? How you guys doing? So let's see what notifications. What you guys been up to? Any games you've been playing? Any movies you've been watching? Any shows? Books, comics, manga? Shit, notifications. Anyway, all right. Hey, Melina Chan. Asking. Oh, Spirit Paradox. What are your thoughts on Sweet Baby Inc? What? Oh, asking for 7 million from Game Science. Oh yeah, the Black Myth Wukong developers. Yeah, yeah, that's fucking crazy. But I'm glad that they basically said no. And now you got IGN putting out smear campaigns against them, which apparently they've been doing that for like a number of months now, like claiming about some sexual harassment allegations or some shit like that, or sexism, or I don't remember exactly. I actually got to look more into it. I only see one video about it from Vera Dark, so I have to look. I have to check out the videos from other people that I'm subscribed to that's been talking about it to get a better idea of what's going on. So, but yeah, I'm glad they actually rejected Sweet Baby Inc. They should be. This is what other developers should be doing: is like saying "fuck you" to these consulting firms, because all they're gonna do is just what they're gonna do is just make it easier for your game to fail. If it was gonna fail already, like say like Forspoken or God, what was the other one? The fucking the African shit. Um I can't remember the name of it. Uh I know they had the guy who voiced Bayek from Assassin's Creed Origins on stage. I think it was the Game Awards or maybe a Summer Game Fest. He was talking about the game. It was some 2D platformer that ended up not doing too well, and then the developer was like claiming it's racism and some shit like that. So hold on, am I behind on some comments? Watching. Oh, the boys. Okay. Funny thing, I actually found out that I found this out a while ago. One of the guys there, he has like a big like a full beard. He's kind of like hefty looking. He was the main guy in the Doom movie that The Rock was in years ago. So what's up, Kami? What's up? Spirit of Paradox. Hold on, let me get back to that. Where is it? All right, here we go. Smoking some Star Dog. That's the thing. I don't know what that is. You have to enlighten me on that one because I'm thinking about buying Starship Troopers Extinction. Oh yeah, I saw the trailer for that. Looks kind of interesting. Did any of you guys see the what the fuck was it? I forgot who's making it, but a trailer for the Thing remastered. I don't know if any of you guys played that game, but I know it's on PS2 because I actually have it. Um, I it probably came on Xbox as well. Probably I don't know about GameCube. I'm sure it probably came on PC, but that's getting a remaster, so it looks really good too because it kind of like redid like lighting and everything. It's like almost like a pseudo remake, at least from what it looks like. So hopefully that's all it is. There's no disclaimers or anything like that, or you know. None of that bullshit. Emerald. I started to read Plus Size Elf recently. I think that's Elf. Uh, I remember when both sides of the culture war going dumb about it. Oh, really? I didn't know about that. Unless I seen it, like images of it, but I never knew the name of it. But so, what's up, Prime? Xbox showcase was a mixed bag. Some amazing announcements like Doom, The Dark Ages, and Gears of War E-Day, but a lot of mid-looking games as well with DEI sprinkled throughout. Oh yeah, definitely. That's kind of how I feel. It's like, yeah, it was a few good games here and there, but most of it was, fucking DEI, ESG slop, and that probably have involvement with Sweet Baby Inc. I mean, South of Midnight definitely does. Um, I'm trying to think of any other games they show there that Sweet Baby Inc. is involved with. Uh, yeah, I'm not entirely sure because some of them on their website it just has like some of like the names of the studios, but doesn't mean that they're working on any games in particular at the moment from them. But I mean, besides that, even if Sweet Baby Inc. had no involvement, the games are pretty self-explanatory as far as like what to expect from it. A bunch of modern day bullshit that they want to chase the modern day audience that they claim that is always going to be there when it never is. So, let's see. Oh, yep. I am currently playing Evil West on PC. That's kind of funny. I was actually looking into that game actually yesterday out of curiosity because I heard people were talking about it a lot when it first came out. It's so good. Also playing another Crab's Treasure. What? Love this indie title. Okay, it's indie title. All right. So sounds pretty good. Let me see if I missed the comments. Oh, nice. Melina Chang taking tattoo classes. Nice. Uh, Christian Frades, what's up? Good thing I promote backwards compatibility. Absolutely. Speaking of which, I may look into getting the Silent Hill HD collection for 2 and 3 because from what I know, they patched a lot of issues and also to refresh my memory on the game because I'm sure I may have to talk about stuff within the game for the what the fuck was it? Oh yeah, I'm sorry, my brain's all messed up. Long weekend, sort of. Anyway, but yeah, I'm sure there'll be more stuff to talk about with the Silent Hill 2 remake. So, and I still have to do that video because I'm still working on it because I don't want it to sound like the other video I did like probably a year ago by now about remakes. But yeah, so I'm definitely gonna get into that and talk about it and be another person to bring more information to light as far as like the consulting firm that Bloober team is working with, which is Hit Detection, which actually has a lot of people from who used to work for EA. I believe it said Activision. I'm trying to think who else. I think IGN and I think Games Radar or something like that. Was it Games Radar? Maybe the Escapist. It was some of the journalist company. I think IGN. I think I already said that. And also G4 TV. Some people also work there. So, oh yeah, I think some people from Ubisoft also are also there now. So I'll try to make sure I say what I have to say about that. And of course, other remakes that I'm not really fond of how a lot of these companies been handling them. One of them, I mean, you guys already know about Final Fantasy VII, how they handled that. So let me see what the other comments are saying. Oh yeah, Kami, Lollipop Chainsaw, the trailer came out. I'm glad they have in the you can play it with the repop, which replaces the gore with like little like what the fuck they call like pop images effects or whatever, or like the original version where it's like all gory. So that's pretty good because they also have where you can play it with the original voice cast. I believe also the original voice cast for English, and I know for sure the original voice cast for Japanese. Oh yeah, yeah, Spirit of Paradox. Yeah, Mo, Alyssa McConte wanted to fight people, and Vera Dark actually accepted it, and then she blocked Vera Dark, and apparently she keeps blocking and reblocking her. Um, and of course, Vera Dark's been pointing that out. I think she did the same thing with Grums. It was either him or someone else. I forgot who it was. But yeah, that's what these journalists do. Like they'll block people, they'll unblock you, talk shit, uh, just do a bunch of crap like that, just like, bullshit tactics where, they'll claim that they want to have a real genuine conversation, but then clearly they don't. And and then it's either that or they'll talk shit. They'll be like, "Oh, no one's willing to debate me. No one's willing to fight me. Do a sort of shit." And it's like, then they back out of it, and I don't know. So this is why people don't trust them. People don't like them because they do these type of tactics, and it doesn't look good on their part because they're the ones who are supposed to be the professionals, right? We're the toxic ones according to them, but they can act like a fool 24/7 on the internet, like social media or even their own websites. Like they write articles where they're basically like taking shots at gamers or other developers that aren't playing ball with them. Like the Wukong devs, what was it Game Science? Smear campaigns like with Hogwarts Legacy or Atomic Heart, Stella Blade. So, you know, uh, that hip. It was the best showcase I have seen for Xbox. Emphasis on Xbox. Doom, Dark Ages, Avowed, Expedition 33, Stalker 2, Perfect Dark. Waited forever, but I will wait much later before I get it. And Wukong. Yeah, was it Wukong? I'm sorry. Wu Chang. Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry. I got that mixed up. That's another one. That's like another like Souls like game, right? With the female protagonist. That was pretty good. Expedition 33 looked pretty good. Uh, Thankfully, it looks like they have women that look like women, so that's a good thing. Stalker 2, I don't know. Kind of gave me like Metro vibes almost in a way, but not quite. What else? Avowed? Meh, I don't know. I don't know about Avowed to be honest. I mean, I don't have like the current Xbox. I don't plan on getting it. But if I did have it, I don't know. I'd probably even then I'd like nah, because Obsidian seems like they're going in a certain direction. If you know what I mean. Never played Lollipop Chainsaw, but I might check out Repop. Yeah, definitely. I think Repop will be good. Hopefully, it's not censored. They don't do some last minute bait and switch like Stellar Blade, which it might be the dev's part on their part, or it might be the publisher, or it might be both. You never know. Let's see what the comments are saying. Oh yeah, definitely. The game journalists are definitely attention whores. That's all they want. They just want attention. They don't want to actually be a good journalist, doing what they should be doing. They just, want attention. They want the spotlight on them. They feel like, oh, I'm a journalist, so I should be like considered like a celebrity. That's what some of the other game developers act like too. They do the same thing. What they feel like they have like this celebrity status now by default, and even then, people shouldn't be worshiping celebrities to begin with. I think it's kind of like weird, to be honest. like I can understand if you're like a kid or a teenager or whatever, but it's like I don't know. Once you like become an adult and whatever, I feel like that whole mindset of like you know like you have like this weird fascination with with a celebrity is kind of weird. I don't know. So, but yeah, a lot of these journalists they think like they're like the best thing out there. Like people got to hang on their every word, and when it's like no, because we have other people. I'm not saying this like me. I mean that's entirely up to other people how they view me. But you got a bunch of other people who are going to tell you what you need to know and report on whatever it is that's going on. I mean, obviously, I don't do like news reporting of shit like that, but there's other people out there who are neutral to everything. They don't put politics. They don't put their own little like. They don't try to cram their ideologies in their videos or whatever it is they're doing. They'll just tell you like it is, and that's about it. To other people, they may say like they're fully aware of what's going on, so they'll let you know like yeah, this thing is woke, or there may be some hint of some DEI. This company is involved with ESG. This company is involved with this consulting firm. This company is promoting, this thing or that thing, whatever, would be labeled as propaganda, which a lot of these Western developers do. So even some of the indoctrinated Eastern developers, so like Sega or Capcom, for example, or Square Enix. I recompleted MGS3, and it's still fantastic. Well, I know Jim Pachi likes Metal Gear Solid. I think that's his favorite one. He told me. I think so. I know it's definitely not 5, but yeah. Wasn't there a trailer for the second volume of the Metal Gear collection, whatever it's called? Emerald Taurus. I'm gonna wait and see on Lollipop Chainsaw. I'll just emulate the original. If worse comes to worse, I'll feel bad for the people who don't get to do so. Yeah, I feel you on that one. I'm definitely gonna take a wait and see approach before I get it. Uh, D Harvey, don't you think worrying about this stuff stuff makes you a bad person and a schizoid? No, I don't think so. Cheng Fu, modern, I just don't see success in that at all. Like modern games, yeah. Unless these modern games are actually like intended to actually listen to what people want. Because the issue that's going on now, I mean, that's been going on for so many years, is that a lot of the developers they just make games that with the intention of what they like and what they like only. Like it's only what they want to see in the game. They don't look at it as like, well, what's the player base? What's their core audience? Especially if it's an established franchise where you clearly have an actual audience where you should know what they're into, what they like, what they're gonna expect for the next installment of the game. And it's like they just completely ignore their audience. And then if they're making a new IP, they just ignore what their potential audience might be, and it's just all about what they want only. And usually, it's not even about like, oh, well, this game's gonna be fun, it's gonna be innovative, it's gonna be very ambitious, it's gonna, incorporate these mechanics and that or whatever. It's all about cramming ideologies wherever they can. Perfect example is Dustborn. That's a pile of shit that's going to be joining, a whole host of other games that've been flopping as of late. And, Dustborn is not going to, it's not going to innovate. It's not going to wow anyway. It's going to wow people in the wrong ways, but it's not going to really be anything special. The only people that are going to be praising it are going to be like the activist gamers that have invaded the space that are, or, indoctrinated. And also, you got to have the journalists that are going to be praising it as well. And then you got to see them snuff out other games that came out this year, such as Stellar Blade. They'll probably ignore Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, unless they just have to acknowledge it because they can't seem too biased. I forgot what game. Oh no, Oh, it was the Game Awards where like a couple years ago, it might as well have been the Kojima Awards. Yeah, well, we'll just give the game to Sekiro. So just to throw people off a bit. Oh, let me catch up the comments real quick. Kamaro Shiryu. Did I say it right this time? I hope I said it right this time. First try. Let me hopefully I did it right. Uh, I just hope it has the option to change the audio from English to Japanese because I know Tara Strong is a terrible person. Oh yeah. You're right. Yeah, I heard about her. Yeah. Yeah. They had confirmed that you can switch between the original Japanese audio and the uh, new recorded Japanese audio. 'Cause I guess they brought in like different Japanese voice actors. They have a different voice cast for the English audio as well. So maybe Tara Strong is not going to be in the game. You choose that option if it isn't available. I'm so behind on comments. Doesn't consoles have their own censorship campaign to what? Doesn't consoles have their own censorship campaign to PC? Yeah, some of them do. Yeah, I think some PC games also censored as well, or have some of that. There was like a trailer for some indie game that I think Valve had censored or wanted the developers to censor, but apparently the game itself won't be censored or or something like that. Give me a second. I need something to drink. Uh, oh, no volume 2 yet. Okay, I could have sworn they had a trailer out or about it or something. The Harvey conspiracies rot the brain. Yeah, that's something that the left love to do. So, you know, definitely tell your local leftist that conspiracies rot the brain, and your local activists as well. Oh God. Hopefully I say this. I don't think I'm gonna be able to pronounce your name, man. Ros Roskian Ikov. Okay. Is that Russian? Hold on. Fucking thing moving. All right. The game industry is totally subverted now. Yeah, it is. That's what they want to do. They just want to subvert your expectations to something that they know you're not going to like, but they're hoping the investors enjoy it. The consulting firms enjoy it. The journalists enjoy it. And, the activists that talk all day on social media, but then, never buy the game. But then they're also hoping that ESG, Larry Fink, they enjoy it so that way they can stay afloat. Emerald, it's hard to trust games that are allegedly rated M for mature when they get censored. Meanwhile, fucking dang, move. Where am I at? Okay, here we go. Meanwhile, mobile games that are mostly rated T for teen that show a lot more like action. What? Timanian? Never heard of that. And Nikkei. Oh yeah. Oh, okay, so those games are rated T. Wow. I figured it would be rated M, but yeah, uh, it's hard to trust these games now. You figured, all right, it's rated M, so why should I be censorship? Why should I have to worry about it? You know what I mean? It's like if it's gonna be gory, all right, it should be there. If they're gonna have like revealing clothing, then all right, it should be there. There shouldn't be this effort put into place to remove that. And it's usually the revealing clothing because they got no problem with the gore. They got no problem with them swearing up and down, you know, all the time. But, if you show a little cleavage here and there, they can't have that, which is baffling because, like, If it's rated M, it should be there. Rated M doesn't mean it's for kids. So it just what I think it is that a lot of them just think that we're stupid, we're supposed to accept it, and they're trying to normalize certain things over others, trying to weed other things out. Like they don't want it to be seen as normal for there to be for an M-rated game or even a T-rated game to have characters in somewhat revealing clothing. They want it to be normalized that you're going to see gore and cursing and all that, and of course you're going to see the character designs for these characters, especially the female characters. They want to normalize that and also normalize the story beats, the subliminal messages, the environmental storytelling, whatever it is they can in order for you to just submit and say, excuse me, and say to submit and say that I accept this. Fine, I give up. I'll play this game. You know, when people can simply just go and play older games, especially if you're on PC, it's pretty easy. Or if you own like older consoles, or if the current consoles have what's they some form of backwards compatibility, and there's games from I don't know, like 2014, 13, 12, 11, 10, or so on and so forth, um, that are actually you know not filled with what we're getting currently. So let me where we're at. That have even if PC game is censored, we have PC modders. I will never forget our Rika, but isn't that from Street Fighter, right? Rainbow, yeah, Rainbow Mika. Butt Slap came back via mod on PC. Yeah, they should never even remove that in the first place. But that's modern day Capcom for you. Where we're at. Oh, Apollo Patriot, what's up? Sweet Baby Inc. got a reality check from Wukong China Game Company. Yeah, hell yeah. Monkey King, yep. Sweet Baby Inc. demanded $7 million to put woke stuff in the Monkey King game. Yeah, and they said, "Fuck out of here." Said, "Fuck that." Shove that up your ass, Kim Belair. Uh, okay, sorry. Yeah, the name is Russian, but I'm not. Oh, he's not okay. He's not Russian. It's the name of the main character in the novel Crime and Punishment. Oh, okay, interesting. D. Harvey. The alt right pushes more crazy conspiracies than the radical left. Ooh, you don't say. The left's heart is more. Hold on. Oh man, come on, man. D. Harvey. It's not even April. Is it Pat? April, May. Yeah, we already went through April. Heart is mostly in the right place. The world in which they all and the I'm sorry, the world in which the alt right advocates for slash works towards is evil. No, really. That's news to me. That's pretty funny. You do realize that the left own most of what's going on, right? They have a lot of control over entertainment, such as gaming, like movies. There is a company by the name of Disney. I don't know if you heard of them. That's pumping out a shit ton of propaganda. One of them being uh with Star Wars. I don't know if you heard of Star Wars, but yeah, that property has gone to shit. Really, when Disney bought them, there's a bunch of games that are been ruined. I mean, people waiting years for a new Saints Row game. We saw that turn out, right? So people waited years for a new Alan Wake game. We saw that turn out, right? People been waiting years for a Silent Hill 2 remake, or at least something with Silent Hill. I don't think everyone was in favor of a remake. I was one of them. I don't think it needed a remake, but anyway, people were looking forward for something involving Silent Hill. You got it. You had and now you got the remake, and it's not looking too good. So uh, and then you think about ESG, BlackRock, Vanguard, and all that. You have another company. Who do you think? Who do you think owns that? Who do you think is in charge? What do you think their ideologies align? The left are doing things. Um, you know who the president is, right? For the United States, right? You know how that election turned out, right? The shenanigans that were at play. You see what's going on in Canada. You want to see what's going on in Chicago. I mean, that's still in America, but you know what I mean. New York. The left has been fucking everything up for a long ass time now. So I don't know what you're talking about. But I mean, you can stay delusional if you want, but hey, you guys can believe in, whatever conspiracy theories you want that makes you feel better. But a lot of people are waking up to what's going on and they're calling it out. I know it bothers you guys, but too fucking bad because you had so much control and you still got a lot of control, too much actually, of a lot of things. Like even again, entertainment. Can't even watch a movie, can't even play a game without even knowing whether or not if it's gonna have some modern day bullshit in it, some far left propaganda in it. We don't know that. Why do you think people going back and playing old games? It's not so much because a lot of new games now are not really innovative or really taking advantage of the hardware. It's also that what we're getting with the stories, with the characters, the character designs, the way they're written, the stories, and how everything plays out, the consulting firms that make it very clear what they want to incorporate into their games once they're in, involved with whatever company they're working with. Again, you can listen to Kim Belair's GDC speech, and you can listen to it over again over and over again as many times as you have to get an idea of what's going on. And I rambled on, but let me try to keep up. I'll start letting people on soon to talk because I've been going on for a while. Uh, Not too long, maybe a half an hour, a little bit. So, okay, hold on, got a message. Give me 1 second. I need to drink something. All right. Sub Octo Commander. They own food, entertainment, and more. Exactly. Yeah, they own so many shit. Like what the fuck? Like that is like some delusional shit where you really think like they have little to no power and have not been doing anything but ruining society, entertainment, and whatever else you can think of. They've ruined. Uh, I'm a Roskian. Probably saying that wrong. Uh, Hold on, let me see this one real quick from Hakami. Who put DI standards? Hates women, but he loves black men. What? Uh, Emerald Taurus. All censors are my enemy. I'm on no one's side other than my own. That's a good way of looking at it too. Yeah, trust in yourself. Because if the right start doing dumb shit, which I mean a lot of them do anyway, they be saying dumb shit, and are really out of touch as well, which is fucking crazy. But it is what it is. Yeah, you should call it out and also stay true to yourself. You know, I may lean towards the right, but I ain't gonna agree with everything that they say or do. So see. Oh yeah, back to your comment. I think D Harvey blocked me. The guy is completely brainwashed. Absolutely. He's only parroting stupid narratives. Anyone who uses alt right like that is an brainwashed idiot. Yep. D Harvey, you gotta stop watching The View, stop watching CNN, stop watching MSNBC, stop watching the Young Turks. Now, I'm not even saying you gotta watch Fox News or fucking Newsmax or whatever. Just like, I don't know, just like cleanse yourself of the leftist radicals that are always in the spotlight telling people what to think. Silver Fang, what's up? That time of the week. Dude, that Starship Troopers game looks lit. Yeah, Apollo, it looked pretty good. D Harvey isn't brainwashed. He's trolling hard. That's what I kind of think too. I kind of think he might be trolling. I don't know because he's doing a lot right now. So you know what? I'm assuming he's trolling until otherwise. So anyway, with all that being said, hold on. Let me do this thing. Not that. There we go. I forgot to put the other one on, but whatever. All right. So shit. This is gonna be a pain in the ass to open up on here because it doesn't want to respond, and it does. All right, hold on. I'm gonna start sending out the links to a few people, so on X that might want to join. If not, it's all right. If anyone in the chat wants to join, just let me know, and I'll put the link out in the chat. So just give me 1 second, or a few seconds. What? Jinpachi's here. What? Yo.
Yo, give me 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, sorry. I'm walking. I just left the gym a little while ago. Sorry about that. I had to do something real quick. But I should be back and settled soon. So I'll stay in the. I'll talk. Hopefully you guys can hear me. And yeah.
Who is on your picture?
That's a caveman Neanderthal woman, and I think that it represents the modern audience mentality pretty well. So.
Okay, all right. I thought
that's Shakira. That's Shakira for a modern audience. She looks like a Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, one of my so to the people watching, one of my friends, he gave me a duffel bag, so I had to pick it up, and I was hitting pads with him, but it was a last second thing, and like I wouldn't have been able to get it like later in the week, so I wanted to do that now. So yeah, again, sorry for being late.
No, that's cool. I've just been answering comments, so I've been reading comments and shit like that. So,
and for everyone commenting, what's up, guys? Hope everything's going well. Two small chins.
So I'm gonna send the links out now to
No, you name it.
Where do you get most of your gaming news from? I'm in Gematsu or Niche Gamer. Oh yeah. I check them out too. Gematsu or Niche Gamer. I check out as far as like non-biased shit or something that's more like in the middle. Then them. I guess Gamer Ranks or what was it? Game Cross. As far as like videos are concerned, but yeah. But I also like will read like articles from a niche gamer. What's all the Spanish music playing?
Yeah.
About to start dancing?
Somebody commented that the jaw's not big enough, and I agree. I'm looking at the picture again. It still looks too pretty.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
It's still too beautiful
It's
for a
not
modern owner.
believable.
That's crazy. A fucking Neanderthal woman is better looking than freaking Joanna Dark. But again, sorry about the background noise. I'll be back into like my house soon, and it'll be much quieter.
The Trent Report? What's that? I get my hottest sources of gaming from Kung Fu Hot Dog, aka Jason King. I never heard of him. I gotta check him out. Hopefully, I remember. All right.
Oh, I forgot to
so
mention
the links out now.
to all the fathers out there, happy
Yeah.
Father's Day. You know, so all the good dads out there doing their thing, you know, spending time with the kids and working hard, man. Respect to you guys, and you know, to anybody here who has like a father that's been there and been supportive, you should tell them too, like, you know, happy Father's Day. And so I just got to mention that. Melina Chan, if you put boobs as your profile pic, that would be pretty base. I ain't gonna lie to you. That would be based. I don't know if YouTube will like it, but hey, you can't beat that.
All right, I sent the links out to a few people.
Can you guys hear me?
On X. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Silver Fang, you can get your news from any site. You just have to be aware enough to discern the opinions and BS from the facts, and it takes critical thinking skills. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Covers movies, drama, and gaming.
And if anyone in the chat wants the link, just let me know.
So Emerald Torres, usually like that's more of like an X thing. Like X, you see a lot of like those bots, like the prawn bots or the spam bots. But I mean, you're probably right. Like, but listen, man, YouTube has a problem with like, I think like even certain games that are tame get censored on YouTube. Like, and then like a lot of times they'll relieve the like, for example, if you play a game that has like sexy outfits, sometimes they'll get censored even though they're all covered up. But sometimes when you fight it, you'll still like they'll remove the not suitable for advertisers thing or whatever. But sometimes you gotta fight for it. So I wouldn't be surprised if they like if YouTube like thought if YouTube like saw a profile pic like that and assumed it was spam or a bot or something. All right, so Revenant, anybody's gonna join?
I mean, I sent a few links out to people on X. So
all right, so I'm almost back. I'm almost back home. So once I get there, like I'm like two minutes away, maybe we can start like getting into the topics, I guess.
So I mean, regardless if anyone shows up or not, then
yeah, then they could join in and chime in with their thoughts.
Yeah.
Man, it's a nice day today. Can't lie. Some sunny weather.
Yeah, it was pretty good
Yeah.
yesterday too.
And I got that
Finally.
feeling, after you after your training and you get that those endorphins. So I feel good right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing soothes stress like punching stuff.
Dachi, what's up?
Punching, kicking, and throwing is the cure for the soul. And choking
Oh, hold
and
on,
breaking.
Jim Pachi. Hold on, let me see that. I know you gotta say something about that.
Yo, what up, Solo?
Where's that? Jim Pachi. D Harvey wrote, I bet that.
I mean, D Harvey's gay, bro. He's here commenting on other men's streams to troll. So why should
He's
he
gayer than
take
me.
what he says serious?
D Harvey goes to pride parades.
Bro, D
By
Harvey
himself.
is there's a word that I'm not gonna say on here because it'll instantly get taken down, but there's a word that rhymes with maggot. That's what D Harvey is. He's literally a maggot with an F. So I mean, it is what it is, bro. Imagine being a grown man and going to someone's account on their podcast to troll and display feminine female behavior, bro. So that boy is dismissed. He can enjoy the cock that he likes somewhere else.
That boy ain't right.
Confirmed. D Harvey likes cock. He admitted it. I think we can all move forward now.
Dachi, we're doing pretty good. Hope you're doing good too. Radius, if there's one good thing to come out of the internet, it's Homestar Runner. What's that?
Homestar Runner. That's a old internet animation show, and it had what's his name?
Oh,
Big
okay.
Bad, Strong Bad. Strong Bad is the character. That's really old. That was from 2006 or something, maybe before that, as far as I remember.
Jeez.
All right, so I'm back
YouTube
now. I'm settled.
Censorship is crazy too. Can't stand seeing all the cover-up censor words. Yeah, I hate that so much. So you got to be careful what you're saying and all that. And it's like, why? It is, it's weird because you have your videos where it's like, it's not, if it's suitable for kids, if you're having all this shit there, why do I got to censor myself in fear of something happening? And then sometimes you can't even dispute whatever is the issue. And then they'll even tell you, like with the Assassin's Creed thing, when they originally told me that it was taken down or got to be taken down or whatever, they said it was within 4 minutes and 41 seconds of the video. And I'm listening to the video, I'm listening back, I see what was said, and it's like nothing here will be considered like hate speech or anything whatsoever. Like it was in the middle of saying something that had nothing to do with
mass
what
reporting. That was people that didn't like what you said, and YouTube, you can have a video that has no what's it called? No sensitive content in it. But if enough people go out their way to report you, it doesn't matter if it's true. Now you have to like appeal it so that a human could look at it and see that there's no content there that is sensitive. So for example, in my animation Augur, it's extremely violent,
Yeah.
right? It's really gory. Initially it was not suitable for advertisers, but then I had a human review it because it's gory, but it's not like pure violence. Like there's a story and context there. So like, if people mass report you or do whatever, if your content doesn't have any of that in it, you can actually appeal it, or you can have a human review it. I know in your case it said that this is not, that it couldn't be appealed, right, or something like that.
Yep.
So, but that's just how YouTube
then,
is,
It's
but then
still
it got
there,
taken off.
so, and they didn't inform me that. Well, we went back on it, huh?
That was them admitting their fault and not
Without acknowledging it.
Yeah, basically, like we're gonna just pretend
Yeah.
it never happened. So whatever, man.
Yeah.
But YouTube's
Just
funny
ignore
because
it,
people.
yeah.
Well, like YouTube is crazy because people can say all kinds of crazy shit to you in your comments, but if you respond crazily back, your comment might get auto deleted by YouTube on your own videos. So it's kind of funny. People can say all kinds of crazy shit, but if it's leaning toward one side, it's acceptable. But if you lean things the
Mhm.
other way, then all of a sudden it's no longer like it's not acceptable. So YouTube is very biased in that regard.
Yeah. Well, all the people who reported my video about Assassin's Creed, well, technically our video, but the video, they were all the same people going, "This shit fire, yo."
That
Heard
shit
that
fire,
rap
fam.
beat?
Yeah,
Shit,
I don't
we
know,
was
bro.
samurai. Shit.
I saw
feel me?
a picture on X where it showed everyone it said like everyone who's against Yasuke in Assassin's Creed or whatever, and then it showed like the profile pictures on X. It was all like white dudes sitting in a car with sunglasses on, and then
yeah.
and then somebody responded, said they wrote this shit fire, fam, and they had like the same thing, like a wall of like profile pics, but it was all like like black dudes in their car, and then they were like saying, "Oh, that's racist." I'm like, you don't get the point that it's not the person who posted that just did it to prove a point of how hypocritical these people are.
Yeah.
Which I thought was like fucking hilarious, bro. Like
goes over the head.
Like both of them are fucked up.
Shit goes over the head.
Yeah, because both of them are fucked up, but it was just to call out the fact of like the hypocrisy of the racism, So, and by the way, Melina Chan is here and she's based. She actually did it.
Oh yeah.
It's covered. It's covered.
Hey.
Damn.
YouTube shouldn't say nothing.
If I see that coming, I'm
this
not
is what
moving.
we need to see.
Right. Not holding back whatsoever is the best picture I can find that, because I was gonna get one that shows the skin. No nips, just the skin of like Melina's MK9 design, but I came across this. Yeah. I figured this will be appropriate for the kids.
Yo, her bandage costume. I love that costume. That costume was base as hell.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that
and defies all logic too.
It's like Melina, I know your mouth is fucked up, but I'll still love you. Don't worry.
Yes.
I accept you for your flaws.
Yes. Just put the mask back on.
Yeah.
I just won't look
put
up
the mask back on. Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
Your beautiful yellow cat-like eyes.
Bag will
Me, right. I'm sorry. What'd you say, Revenant?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm all right. I'm a busy woman. I'm being more active lately because work and then doing these tattoo classes. So yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean that's good. I'm glad you're staying busy. I've been kind of busy too lately. Been trying to get a couple things done. So it happens. That's the name of the game. It's better to be busy and active because people they don't realize that's the spice of life. If you had too much downtime and chill time, you'll feel miserable. So you need to have things that are motivating you to move forward. So it's kind of one of those things where when you're busy, you want some alone time and quiet time. But sometimes when you have too much of that, you want to be busy again.
Mm-hmm.
They both have their place.
Yes, and I've already had my hiatus for a while, not doing art or anything like that. So this year I really wanted to make sure I focus on doing artwork, doing what I love, and just getting that out there. So yes, like it's nice to be making moves and being able to be more productive than before. But this time, it's what I
Mm-hmm.
love to do. So it's just I can't. I will take this. You know, it'll be worth it in the end for me.
Well, I got a question for you.
Mhm.
Are you like studying art? Is it art related?
Oh yes, it's art related.
Okay.
I'm not. I haven't. Excuse me. I haven't went to school for it. Or I felt like just getting out of high school, like I wasn't ready. So, and it was hard to face that with myself, like a couple years ago. Like just getting out of high school. I realize now that I'm a little older, that it wasn't at the time what I wanted to do.
You're
But
Your
cutting
mic,
out. It's kind of like
your mic, your
got
mic
your
sounds
mouth
like you're like
pressed
going,
on something.
you're dipping your head underwater and then coming back up. Like,
oh, can you guys hear me well now?
yeah, it's a little clearer. It really
Oh,
sounded like
okay.
you were like on the
Yeah.
phone and you were like submerging and then like talking and then popping back up and like
Yeah.
continuing on.
Oh, that's terrible. I gotta give me a new Bluetooth then if that's the case. And these are supposed to be new. I am so
Just one
sorry.
quick
Nah,
adjustment.
you're good. You're
embarrassing.
good. You're good.
Oh,
You're good. You're
okay.
good. Yeah, I'm just letting
No,
you
it's
know.
fine.
So like, you know, but
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna
yeah,
have to hold up to my mouth then.
We're not really a professional
but
podcast anyway.
but I'm glad that you're doing that because like, you know, whatever you're working on or like whatever project you're working on, I hope it goes well. Like, art is like a hard thing, man, because you have, you
Mhm.
need, it's weird because a lot of artists like myself, I don't necessarily like marketing, but you have to do it because for your art to be successful, you need eyes to
Yeah.
be on it. And it's just kind of like a lot of artists. I'm not saying I'm introverted because I'm not really that introverted, but I definitely don't like the limelight, like per se. But you need to
Mhm.
have like some of that, you know. So
Yeah, I'm
make
right
your
there
art,
with you.
yeah. So, yeah, but I'm, hopefully it goes well. And whatever projects you complete, like definitely show it to us, or like once it's done, you can like, give a plug for it on the podcast, like so people can check it out. Like,
Oh yes, of course. Because I've been getting my socials together. Like I'm giving it like a makeover, changing like my profile pic
Mm.
and my headers and my bios a little bit. So I'm going back over because I'm supposed to been reposting the lives and I keep forgetting to do so. But I feel like I'm not ready because I want my socials to be like fleshed out and then get back into posting. And I used to go live like on Instagram live and Twitch. And I have like so many great ideas that I just haven't like put them into fruition, or I started and then I just stopped due to life taking me a detour. So like just like with this, find a space like in the YouTube community where I can talk about topics like how we talk about like for the gaming community and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I finally got that, and it's like I'm getting the ball rolling. I'm moving and getting out there, though. I consider myself an introvert, and then there's times I can be extroverted, but I I am like just like you, how like I don't want to too much be in the limelight, because my whole thing is that I don't even want to show my face, especially with the whole AI thing going on. Like
oh
that
yeah,
scares me. So, and that makes me
Oh yeah.
so
there'll be
I just like to
a
be
deep
private.
fake. There'll be a deep fake Melina endorsing Biden.
Right, and having me say a whole bunch of stuff that I wouldn't naturally say. So yeah, I gotta be real careful of that and making sure my work is it's watermarked and all that. So I'm just trying to get that all together, because
Everything.
man,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
lot.
I tried drawing live on Instagram, but I realized when I'm live drawing, I can't focus on responding to the chat and on drawing at the
Yeah.
same time. And then like
Yes.
I tried doing it, and then I realized that a lot of people that do like live drawing, sometimes they'll have a person reading them comments, right? Like their wife or their friend or whatever. So I'm like, if
Mhm.
I do that, I gotta have like somebody there like reading the comments for me. That way I can focus on the drawing and like and responding.
What's up,
Yes, I
Roadboy?
actually tried that. That it it didn't really work. Well, it worked, but then at a certain point, I stopped because I have like a light, and then I set my phone up to record. So every time I have to stand up to go look at the comments, and then come sit back down and continue what I was drawing, and it's like, I likely need some assistance, or I can't really talk. So it's
Yeah.
like one or the other. But
What's up,
yeah.
JJ Jr.?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's let's get into some of the subjects,
Yes. I don't know where to
the
start.
Yes,
the
let's.
topics. Yeah.
I'll put it up on the screen actually. I'm trying to be a little fancy with this now. At least the best way that I can. Hide that. All right, let's get into the hefty one real quick. Here we go. What? Here you go. Well,
Oh, well, uh, do you mind, Raven, if I respond to D Harvey right quick?
sure.
Okay. Ooh, you lucky I'm a guest on somebody's channel. Cause I'm trying not to. I got a bit of a potty mouth, and I'm trying not to go into you. And you're not really worth it anyway. First of all,
You're talking about D Harvey?
yes,
Ignore him.
you can.
That's what you do. Actually, Revenant, if he keeps acting like a bitch, just remove him from the chat, bro. Fuck him. You know, like just ban him from the chat. Why are you gonna have somebody there who's gonna consistently say stupid shit and troll you? You know
Yeah,
what
it's
I'm
not
saying?
really
That's
bothering
true,
me. I
yeah.
just want to
Yeah.
tell him, since I got
I
the
mean,
balls to come up here, and I can say it, since he don't want to come up here, go fuck yourself. Like, seriously.
Yeah, but my point is
Yep.
like, bro,
Yeah.
like it's not like it's not censorship. This guy is bringing nothing to the conversation, and he's just here to troll you.
Nothing.
Like, he's literally here because he has nothing better to do than to troll you and say stupid shit in the chat.
Yeah, I was
So
surprised he showed up when I saw him in the comments today.
So I would just remove him from the chat. Like, fuck him. You don't owe him nothing. You don't owe
Yeah.
anybody
Yeah,
anything.
let me-
Fuck him.
like-
Get rid of him. He's a bitch. That's it.
No, you're right. Let me scroll up a bit
Yeah.
and find him. Here we go. Okay. Oh yeah, these are my options: delete comment, put user in timeout, ban user, and delete their comments.
You know what? Put him in timeout like a little kid, since that's how he's acting. And then if he keeps acting like
You've been a
2-year-old,
bad boy.
yeah, then you give him you give him pow pow, and then you ban him if he
Yeah,
keeps going.
pow.
You get a little pow
in the
pow on the
corner.
butt, you know.
He could be staring at the wall.
All right. So what are the subjects
All right,
again?
now that we took care of that. Huh? Oh yeah. So the Xbox showcase, people apparently saying that it's the best showcase ever, or the best showcase in a very long time. Not just for Xbox, but just like in general. Which I'm thinking to myself, like, did we see the same showcase? Did we see the same
Yeah,
stream?
like
Like, what's going on? Has our standards like completely like fallen off a cliff or something? I'm like, really?
Some people never had standards to begin with.
right.
That's true.
I wonder who said that. Who are all these people saying that?
But you know, I
on like X, I've seen like some videos, even some people I'm subscribed to, like I think Griffin Gaming had was praising it. I think Fratanga. Who else?
Well, you know why they're praising it?
People,
because
but,
they only showed two things they cared about. They're gonna act like the whole showcase was good just because they showed Gears of War and Doom. Like, don't get me wrong, out of all those games, the only one that interested me was Doom, and I hope they don't fuck that up, because I remember that Doom Eternal was made before Xbox acquired them, and this is the same Xbox that said telling developers to like not make females too sexy. So who knows what this variation of Doom will be like? Because even if Doom isn't woke, you will be surprised how they'll find some note or log or file or some hologram to say some stupid woke shit, like just to have a little bit of that in there. So until the
just
game
real
comes
quick,
out,
I think I accidentally banned D Harvey.
all right, well, fuck
I
him.
meant to quick time out, but
Well, whatever,
Mhm.
man. I mean, like
oh
you
well.
know, it's
I
like
guess whatever.
it's like Joker, like the radio said in Arkham Knight about Joker. Let's forget about him and move on. Yes, let's forget about him and move
Yes.
on. Yeah, that's it. Just forget it. Forget it. Fuck him. All right. Anyway, so um, I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow, in some way, force some ideological bullshit into Doom. Uh,
Yeah, I can
what's
see
it
that.
called? What's it called? Dark Age. Doom
Dark
Dark Age.
Ages.
I
Mhm.
just because this is
Dark
modern
Ages.
Xbox. This is modern Xbox. But like for now, I'm excited for it because I love Doom and I do want the game to be good. So I'm excited for it. I want the game to be good. I'll buy it if there's no bullshit in there. Like that's the only thing that interested me at all. Gears of War is gonna be like that's one of those games that I guarantee you there's gonna be subversive shit in there. So just because you saw like a classic looking Marcus and Dom, don't be surprised if there's some BS in there. Really don't be shocked. Like that's one that I don't have faith in at all. But
Mm.
But anyway, the reason why I went on that tangent is because people saw Doom and Gears of War and said, "Oh, it was one of their best showcases." A lot of the other shit they showed on there would look trash, and like they showed Perfect Dark. The gameplay looked okay. It looked alright from what we saw, but then look at Joanna Dark.
Man.
She literally has a Brock. She looks like Brock Lesnar in a auburn wig, literally.
With a strong chin.
Bro, but like I'm not even exaggerating. She has a Brock Lesnar chin in that picture.
Yeah.
Like for real, like really, that shit is crazy.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean, like, so all right. And here's the thing, it's like, all right, it comes back to the thing that I always say: if something goes woke and the gameplay is good, are you gonna ignore the wokeness because you like the gameplay? Like, at what point do you draw the line? Because these companies, in order for them to stop, the games have to not make money despite the gameplay being good. That's the only way you're gonna get the politics out of it. If you like say, well, the gameplay is good, so I don't care about the woke shit, then you're telling them that they can just keep putting it into games you like and you're gonna buy it anyway. You know? So basically nothing on there besides those two games looked remotely interesting in my opinion. They had that other game that they showed, that it was kind of like a RPG thing. I think we talked about. I forgot what it was called, Revenant. I know you told me a bunch of times.
Expedition 33, the turn-based one, right?
Yeah, it looks kind of
Yeah, that looks
interesting.
pretty good. But
So we could say
at least
one.
there's female women, at least from what was shown, at least. So.
Yeah, like imagine having to say female women in 2024. Like, what the hell kind of like world do we live in?
Yeah.
I didn't see anyone from Brock Lesnar chin, so I think the coast is clear with this one, at least for now.
Maybe. Because
yeah.
remember,
still
Rey in Star Wars is an attractive woman. Doesn't change the fact that those movies are girl boss bullshit.
Yeah.
True.
So, pretty face doesn't mean it won't be woke.
There was also they had a release date for Black Myth Wukong, which oh wait, no, that wasn't it. That was Summer Game. I'm fucking Summer. That was Summer Game Fest. Never mind. I don't know what I'm thinking about. You know, it was because we talked about Wukong in the comments earlier. So,
Apollo Patriot left, right? I think he might have left.
Are you asking was he on the podcast? You mean like was on the panel?
No, he was in the chat, but he left, right?
He was, yeah. I think he
okay.
did left.
All right. Because I was gonna say, because I know like he probably is like would be excited for Doom too, because like he has kind of like similar taste.
Yeah, I think he had mentioned Doom and also Stalker 2. So.
Yeah, because he has like some similar taste with certain games, so I would imagine that he would be into it. But yeah, so like, I mean, like the best showcase in years for Xbox is still a low bar because they've been so bad that that them having a couple games to show is I'm supposed to consider as a good showcase. It's like, no, it's an average showcase, and they showed a couple of good games. If Sony had a showcase and they showed one or two games that are worth anything and the rest are like forgettable fodder, then
people would be saying that Sony's showcase sucked. So we had to keep a standard for everyone, in my opinion. As far as
You're
Metal
right.
Gear Delta,
That's how I feel.
as far as Metal Gear Delta goes, because I saw a Spirit of Paradox mentioned it. I love Metal Gear Solid. That's one of my favorite game series of all time, and I even liked 5 despite the flaws in 5. I thought 5 was a great game. I don't have trust in them with this remake. I just have a bad feeling about it. The gameplay looked so far. Everything about it looked good except the boss. And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that the boss was like this feminine, like beautiful woman, because she really always looked like a tough, like older woman. But I feel like they kind of like pushed it a little too far because she looks like Jay from fucking Jay and Silent Bob. Like I don't know if you guys know about that, but she does not look right, in my opinion. Like then they darkened her hair up. Like I don't know. And what I want to see is the treatment of Eva. I think Eva's character and the way she's portrayed in the story and how they change her and work her around will be a clear sign of whether this is going to be an agenda-driven remake or if it's going to just be like a solid game. You know, just a solid like good faith remake. But I don't know if you guys have played Metal Gear Solid 3, but Eva is like the antithesis of everything that like the progressive agenda is about. She's a woman who uses her beauty to like be a spy and manipulate men, and then like Snake has to save her. She's not like really, she has some badass moments. She's not really like a girl boss character, and she has a lot of like fan service involving her. So again, I have to see how they handle her, and I have a strong feeling they're gonna like pull an Ashley Graham with her and like rework her to the point where like she loses all charm and all her charm and character because of like girl ball shit. And again, this is speculation, so I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I think it's weird that they showed the boss and they showed Snake, but they haven't shown Eva yet. And I would think that would be one of the first things they show because you meet her pretty early on in the game. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
All right.
That's true.
Well,
Paramedic does still look hot.
That's your whole thoughts on like the showcase?
I mean, I guess well, Fable looked. I mean, people are like, oh, well, we're talking about the showcase. Let's talk about Fable. Before we go into that, I just want to answer. I just want to respond to Spirit of Paradox real quick because he said Paramedic still looks hot. She does still look hot, but I'm talking more about Eva's character, like how her character is portrayed, her writing, her dialogue. Again, I hope it's good. If it's good, I'll definitely buy it. It's not going to be a day one buy for me because I'm going to need somebody I trust to play through the game and actually warn us if they're gonna warn up if there's bullshit in there, because I'm not gonna support that, especially because Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. I'm not gonna buy that remake if they pull some like political bullshit in it. And as far as Fable goes, because I wanted to mention that people, all right, I'll admit this. In the trailer for Fable, she looked slightly more feminine, but she looked fucking horrible still. It still looks disgusting. It looks weird. It looks like a trans man still. It just looks like they added an extra pound of makeup on them.
To me, it kind of looks like it was more like in-game compared to the first trailer, which looked like it was mainly like cutscene heavy, or like where it seemed like what they were showing was kind of like more in-game cutscenes. You know, it's like a difference between like, all right, there's the cutscene, but then like
and the CGI cutscenes, like with the special lightings and filters. It's like filters and lighting.
Yeah, I'll use an example. Other games do this where
Arkham Asylum does that.
Yeah, or even like Neo or like Neo 2, I'll use Neo 2 for example. There's cutscenes and you can still see a character in whatever it is they're wearing, right? And however you customize them. But obviously the visuals look better than in game. So that's what I'm saying with that. Or you were saying with Arkham Knight. Because there's some games where I forget what game it was. I think it was actually probably was this like older game where like whatever it is you were wearing or how your character looked, like those completely like remove that and you're wearing like default clothing or something. Didn't The Witcher 3 do that at one point?
Yeah, actually, yeah, Witcher 3 does that a lot. Well, it forces you to change your clothes for story reasons in The Witcher 3. So there are parts where you have certain outfits on, but they're not because the cutscene's defaulting. It's because the story requires you to wear those outfits. But yeah, like a lot of games do that, where they'll have like a special lighting filter or a special. It'll be rendered differently, but it's the in-game models, right? A lot of games do that, so it could be that kind of thing. I think that in some of at certain angles, the Fable protagonist, whatever you want to call him, I call it a him because it looks like a man still, but if whatever you want to call him, he she, whatever, they look slightly more like the girl that that was supposedly used as the model, but it still looks bad. It still looks bad. Like it doesn't look good. It's far below par, and I don't think polishing up a turd negates the fact that it's a turd.
To me, she looked no different. I just
I agree.
figured like she looked like an
Because,
HD version of herself.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking,
exactly.
Like
exactly, like a smoother, more smoother rendered.
like when people are like, oh, she looks different or whatever, she looks better, and people are complaining or whatever, she looks fine or prettier. I'm like, no, she still looks busted. What are you talking about?
She looks the same.
pretty much the same as she did in the trailers.
She still looks
Yeah.
bad enough that I don't feel comfortable calling it a she. So
Yeah,
So
me too.
my whole-
and another
so-
thing where people were saying in
Yeah.
the comments with both my Fable videos where I talked about it, they were going on like, oh, it's gonna have character creation, this, that, or whatever. You can be a male if you want or whatever. The trailer, I don't know if anyone noticed where they said she or her, one of the two, where they were referring to the character. And since this is a remake, I'm sorry, a reboot of Fable, and this is Playground Games. I know they did the Forza racing games. I don't know if they did any game like this before. So if this is like their first like open world RPG type of game, then I doubt they're gonna have a shit ton of customization options. If this is like kind of like their first like forte into this genre,
Let me
So,
respond to some
I'm
comments.
pretty
real
sure
quick.
she's gonna be the main character you're playing as. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think that they're gonna have like that be the base character, kind of like because in Fable 1, you were basically that base character no matter what. It just changed depending on
But
your.
you can also
your
you can change your hair color. You
yeah,
can get
but it was the same
tattoos.
guy. But it was the same guy
Yeah,
basically.
it was the same guy. Yeah.
I think that's what they're gonna do with this, where it's gonna be the same he she, gender neutral he she, but you can like choose
Yeah.
how like the hair is styled or whatever.
Non-binary.
I don't know. Whatever. I'm sorry, man. Like the actress who allegedly the character is based off of looks okay. She looks like a normal, person, woman. But what they did to her in that game is an abomination, and I would be pissed off. I would want to sue them if they made me look like that in the game,
For real.
especially when they don't have to.
Yeah.
Because you play Metro Exodus and you look at Anna, and Anna is like it's a modern game, and she still looks like beautiful. You play Resident Evil 8, the Demetrex daughters all look beautiful. Like, come on, man. Like, it's unnecessary. But I want to respond to this because Emerald Torres said, don't forget Konami is also remaking Silent Hill, so play at your own risk or wait and see. And yeah, and I agree. It's Konami, So Konami is one of the most corporate, like ESG corporate, like I don't even know how to explain it. Greedy corporations you can have. So, I mean, I expect the same kind of bullshit to happen in Metal Gear Solid Delta. And then you look at the boss, and like that's a clear sign that that's the way they're gonna go. I mean, like I said, they made it look like Jason Mewes, so that's fucked up. By the way, Melina, if you don't know who Jason Mewes is, remember the name, and like you should look at a picture when you get a chance. This shit is hilarious because she really looks like Jason Mewes. I'm not even joking.
Jason Mewes is it Muse?
MEWES.
Okay. Yeah.
True Crime Streets of LA and New York. Good games.
Yeah, those are both great games. They're very good. I especially like True Crime. I like the True Crime Streets of. I like Streets of New York more than LA, but they're both great. Yeah, exactly. They're monopolistic and they're pretty evil. They're pretty evil of a corporation, I would argue that that's a better word. I agree.
Wait, spell his last name one more time, please.
So MEWES.
Oh,
Jason.
okay.
And then look at the boss in Metal Gear Solid Delta, and you'll see the comparison. Like, that's just crazy, bro.
So Commander.
Let's see here. Oh, we're good. We're good. Okay, so when it comes to trying to sell a game, here's my thing I don't get. Why do they keep making these ugly default characters be the advertisement piece for the game? That's one. Number two, why do they keep going around and having cutscenes? Old school video game trailers, if you ever look at them, Dreamcast, Sony, PlayStation, right? All those old ones. What do you see? You're going to see just gameplay, barely or no cutscenes. And now it's the opposite.
Well,
That's
you know
true,
what it
yeah.
is?
It's a bunch of
Because
a bunch of CGI and all that.
they're gonna call
Keep people
this a
excited.
conspiracy. They'll call this a conspiracy theory, but this is my answer to your question. Take it with a grain of salt. I think that what they're trying to do is like, and I'm talking about like Hollywood and like just entertainment that's like highly left leaning in general. I think this is what I think the agenda is. They hijack these spaces and try to make it cater to the direction that they want society to go into. So, you know, pronouns, Latinx, and I'm telling you, no person I've ever met that's Latino, and I know a lot of them, and myself as one never uses that word, stuff like that. The gender neutral characters, they're trying to normalize it to the point where it alienates the old fans, and then it gets the people that they have like monkey brain and they just want to play the new thing. It gets normalized to them too. So they're used to seeing it to the point where now when somebody talks against it, it makes them like want to defend it because they no longer see a problem with it. It's already been normalized. That way they push out the old fans and replace them with like the new quote unquote modern audience. And that
True.
way, you know, they can control it more. They can control it on deeper levels. And now it's stronger propaganda, right? Because now when people say, well, I don't like Spider-Man 2 because they made Peter look like a cuck ass bitch. But then somebody will say, like, oh, y'all just hating, y'all just racist. When people say that, it's not because they have thought deeply about this. It's because they like Spider-Man so much that they will be damned if somebody criticizes the new Spider-Man game. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, you gaslight to the point where these people genuinely believe it. And as hard as it is to admit, it's kind of worked to a degree, right? Because now people say things like, people always say like, well, I'm tired of the word woke. Well, that's the thing. That's what they want you to believe. They want to beat you over the head with it till you're tired of fighting back. And now the people that are still fighting, they are like, they stand in the way of your brainless enjoyment. You get what I mean? So people will call that a Right, say what you're gonna say.
Go on. Right.
No, so I was just gonna say that it's a conspiracy. That people say that's a conspiracy, but I think like it's evidence that this is what's actually been happening.
Yeah, gaslighting, constantly lying, because if you keep telling a lie, it becomes the truth. And also, don't forget that recent story about that Chinese company had to deal with the extortionists, the Sweet Baby Inc. people.
Black myth.
Yeah, and you know, just a quick little thing. So I remember when I was on Reddit, I would post things to promote my stuff, and then all of a sudden I noticed some people here and there that will show up and they're like, "Oh, we want this, and you know, would you like this and that or whatever, like help or whatever?" And you know, I'm fine and whatever. But one of the other things I kind of noticed was the people that go around and attack, you know, and it's just like, okay, all right, I just dusted off. But all of a sudden, I started noticing people that would go around and say that, and it's kind of like what they're doing with Wukong. It's like, okay, if you don't want me to work with you, then I'm going to send my goons to attack you, and it's just like they just don't get it.
So let me interrupt you real quick. You see what you just said? You see what you just said? You know what that is, right? That's the mafia. You go to a store. Hey, this is a nice little business you got here, mom and pop. I think you guys need some protection because, you know, the gangs in the city are out of control. No, we don't need any protection. And they themselves are the gang that's going to attack them. So it's basically like you're paying them, you're extorting them, and protection money is really protection from the mafia. That's basically what these journalists do. It's like, you know, or these DEI groups are like, oh, well, you know, we're protect. You should add some DEI because you might face backlash or whatever from like minority communities. But then they are the ones who are gonna down talk and trash your game. They're gonna have these journalists do hit pieces if you don't, play ball with them. So it's basically mafia tactics by a different name.
Right. And it's just crazy how they expect a company that pretty much just got out of nowhere to fork out $7 million, and it's like, who does that? Who asks for like money on hand? If you're gonna negotiate with people, you would say, okay, this is what I can do for you, and then you wait for a response, and then you give them the price, right? That's how you do business. But these people just straight up, where's give us your money now, or you're gonna look bad. And it's just like, it kind of tells you what kind of thing they're going with, because one of the things about my little conspiracy theory is when you first go in, you extort them, and then you tell them, okay, change this character into a female character. Oh, she looks too good, make her ugly. Now make her look like me. Kind of notice some of these people look like the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
you know what? They've admitted this
Self-insert.
already. They've already admitted this. Remember Kim Belair, that you scared them into? Remember you scared them into thinking a certain way. She literally has said
getting
this.
what they want.
Yeah. So this is
That's
not
what's
new.
happening with,
They've
Black
they've
Myth
literally
developers.
verbatim said this is what they do. And it's kind of like funny because even though she's literally said this and we're seeing evidence, there are still dickheads out there that are gonna I have a rough way of speaking, sorry guys, but there are dickheads out there that are still gonna defend it. There are people that and it's like multi-layered, because there are also people that they don't even care about like any of like the leftist shit shoved in progressive shit. They're just so hard on being contrarians that like they're committed to that contrarian mindset, that they see that people are against something or protesting something, and by default they're going to go to the opposite side even if they don't believe in it. You see that all the time. And when you ask them to defend their points, they'll say things like oh well, from the outside looking in, both sides look bad or whatever, or both sides look like extremists. It's like, people have to understand,
contrarian stance.
nobody there no not all sides are created equal. So I'll give you an example, right? Let's say there's somebody that says, I want to go into a shopping mall and shoot everybody, and somebody says, well, I'm going to stop you from doing that. And these two people are arguing. It's an argument. Both sides do not one side wants to kill everybody, the other side doesn't want to kill everybody. Is that argument created equal? Of course not.
Nope.
You're going to have
Nope.
You're not. So to say from an outside perspective, like, oh, from an outside perspective, both of you guys look bad or whatever, it's like, I don't give a fuck what an outside perspective looks like, because people have to be there to be a shield and stop and repel, or at least give pushback against that stuff. And I think that most people who say that either don't really understand the issues, or, like I said, they're just contrarians. They just don't like that a large amount of people have like a certain stance. So a smaller example of this would be like Batman fans, right? People will say like, tired of Batman fans. They think Batman's God. He's overpowered. He's a human or whatever. It's all plot armor, but they neglect the fact that the basis of all superhero stories are a degree of plot armor, right? They all have a degree of the hero overcoming the odds. So what that really translates as is that Batman's a popular character, and I'm tired of seeing people like the character, so I'm gonna take this contrarian stance. It's the same thing. It's the same mentality, and it's like, it's really mind numbing. And the problem is, a lot of people don't think, like, a lot of people speak without thinking, and they don't actually apply any kind of deeper thought to what they say, and they live their lives like that, like on autopilot. And when they see, like I said before, when they see people that are adamant or they have a research stance, it kind of like pisses them off. It's like, why are you not like defaulting to monkey brain like me? Or how dare so many people like this one thing? You see it like in sports, right? A sports athlete gets too popular, then the haters come out, right? The haters are like, they'll make all the excuses in the world, but they really don't like that they're popular. Or like a sports team, like, I hate the Patriots. They hate the Patriots because the Patriots are always winning. Or they hate the Yankees because the Yankees were doing good for a large number of years. So it's like a human psychology thing. And I think that's like the basis of a lot of like of what these people say, because there's no way in hell that somebody objectively thinks that having ugly ass, manly looking women in games is somehow better. You can't tell me that a lot of people in good faith think that's better. You know, so
Yeah, and the other thing is, I think a lot of these wokies are lucky that we're not crazy enough to go full self-reliance to the point of producing our own console. Because there's one thing for PC and cell phones and all that kind of stuff, but I'm looking at this from a perspective of how long is Gabe going to hold on to Steam? And of course, if they're going to have some new people show up, who knows what they're going to replace him with. And of course, you got Microsoft talking about they wanted to buy Steam. Like, why the hell you want to buy Steam for? Mind your own business. You can't even make a functioning game with Call of Duty and also the Starfield, and they have those errors going on, even though they probably fixed them. But it's just like, like I said, they're just lucky that we're not crazy enough to make our own console and go full just isolated.
It's not about being crazy. It's like having the money. Like I mentioned it before, like Elon Musk could make us like I said this in multiple podcasts. He can make a pseudo console that's like almost like a Steam Deck on a bigger scale, but not specifically tied to Steam. So you have a piece, you have a console that's basically like a PC with a simple interface, and that way you're basically playing PC on a console. If they could make that affordable for people, right? Or even make it that you can easily interchange parts and it's not a true PC, that would kill that movement, because people that want to play that don't have the motivation to go to PC route, they can just buy this simplified console, basically a simplified PC, and they can play PC games with mods, and they're not going to be forced to have to buy a Sony console or Xbox console where they're forcing censorship. But that would take a lot of money, and I honestly think that it would take somebody with the vision to do that, or with the resources. So it would have to be like somebody like Elon Musk, sadly, and the chances of that happening are extremely low. But that would be the simple solution to me to like solve all this shit, because anybody who doesn't like any of this shit, they'll just buy that console. They can play PC games, and then they'll be able to have all their mods. A game like Stellar Blade would have a bigger market because it would technically still be the console market. So they wouldn't have the fear of like missing out on the console market by making it PC exclusive, which is why they went with Sony, which is why the game got censored. So, because if that game was PC exclusive, we all know that it wouldn't have had any of that censorship, no matter what people try to gaslight you into thinking. But again, most people don't want to build a PC. And as much as people don't want to admit it, PC is much smaller of a market than the console market. I hate to say it. Like they're PC players are not the priority when it comes to gaming. It's fucked up, because I think that would make a big difference. But it's sadly, your lowest common denominator is buying a console.
That's true, because I recently purchased a used PS5. I'm not buying a new one. Sony's not going to get my money. Whoever is selling me that system, they're going to get my money, not Sony. So, you just plug in the plug in the the HDMI into the TV, and you just sign up a few little things, download some stuff, and you're good. With a PC, it's like you got to get the parts, install it. You have to have some kind of technical skills, and make sure you put in the little cards in correctly and all that kind of stuff.
And you have to have a mind for troubleshooting, because some games are not optimized well. So you have to, like, again, I'm not shitting on PC players, but you have to know what you're doing. You really do. And there's a learning curve to that. And some people just want to put their disc in their console and play. Really, that's really what it comes down to,
Right. Yeah, but one day we'll be totally self-reliant, because it's kind of like a full spectrum of everything in the world, where I remember this one time we are just going through, like, looking at the world and how things are changing and figuring out, okay, we should probably be more self-reliant when it comes to things like food and whatever. And now it has to go to the entertainment, because whoever these control freaks are, they are just making life, trying to make life a living hell. And we talk, people talk about self-reliance, and now it's just got to be entertainment as well,
Yeah.
being self-reliant, because it's like these people, they're not going to stop. You got, like I said, that story about the Wukong, and you know story, and then you got Smash JT getting some jackass calling the job, sending emails to the wife, and then you have Grums with his set of episodes where you got these jokers pulling off these mind games, and it's just like these people are the super villains, and they don't have they're not classical liberals. These people, they're something else. They're not, because I
Of a new
remember
breed.
back in the, yeah, something just straight up greed, demonic, whatever you want to call it, because I
I
remember
think it's
back in the
I'm starting to think I'm starting to think there's like a malevolent like demonicness to it as well. I at first I dismissed that
It
as like, all right,
seems
this
like
is
it.
like at first I was like, oh, this is a little like whatever, but like now that I the more I think deeply about it, it's like there's no real good that comes from it. It's all like pretty negative, and overall like it's overall like it's like ugly, it's like ugly and dark.
it's ugly. Yeah,
It's ugly
yeah,
and
yeah,
dark. And ugly and
yeah.
dark is not associated with goodness, in my opinion. I never associated things like that with being good.
Oh, no, no, no,
Mhm.
no. Dude, you're right on the money, because here's the thing: you got these games like from Naughty Dog now. Before, Naughty Dog used to be kind of upbeat and cheery, and or something like like a classic Hollywood movie, it's borderline optimistic, with games like
Indiana Jones, Uncharted,
yeah,
Crash
that kind
Bandicoot,
of
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, Crash Bandicoot. You got friggin' Drake with what's that
Uncharted.
one? Uncharted, right, right. And then all of a sudden now we have freaking Last of Us, where everything is dark and miserable, and
It's
Neil's
built
talking
to
about,
depress
oh,
you.
everything has to be miserable. Like, really, pal?
It's meant to make you feel hate. Like, what's funny? The heroes of the past, they were meant to uplift you and make you feel like you can overcome oppression and obstacles in an organic way by having courage, not giving up and things like that. And stories now, they seem to be more about giving up. There's no morality. Everything is gray.
Mhm.
Villains are justified, and it's like
Yep.
it's that mentality of like where people justify criminals because they say, oh, they're poor or whatever, but then they forget that there's also a single mom somewhere who's also poor, but she's working 2 jobs instead of robbing people. So it's
Yep.
like there's always like that mentality, and that aligns with like leftism, right? It's like, oh, this villain just wants to kill everyone on Earth because they lost their kid. But it's like, all right, you lost your kid, but you're still trying to kill everybody on Earth. That's not fucking justified. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that there's like a bit that's like that the same like bane of that ideology of like, everything's gray, because at least if things are gray, at least that negates goodness. It doesn't negate like you know what I mean? You can't be demonic and good at the same time, but you could be in a gray area and still be demonic. So it
Or
sounds fucked up, but
or
Mhm.
just it's just some people just going through just existential struggles, but at the same time they're trying to crawl out the darkness. There's no crawling out the darkness. It's just regret, misery, anguish, and it's like, okay, I'm doing good, I'm trying to save the world, and then all of a sudden you got this excessive amount of obsession with hero deconstruction, which at
Mhm.
first I kind of didn't mind, because it was kind of interesting to
It
see,
was the exception
okay,
to the rule. It wasn't the rule.
right, right,
Yeah.
right. And it was the idea like, oh, what if Superman was evil and whatnot, and that was kind of interesting. But now it's like, okay, everybody has to be evil Superman and all this kind of stuff, and it's
Or
just like,
gray, or even just morally gray, right? It's like a Superman that's like, oh, like it's like a, I forgot where the line was from. It's like Superman can save everybody, but should he save everybody? And the answer is yes, he should save everybody. That shouldn't even be like a question that you have to ask. You know what I mean? But that's kind of like where the turn superheroes have taken because of like the obsession with deconstruction, right? And you're seeing that a lot, like with like unfortunately, you see that with Batman now, where like, for example, in the Batman 22, where you have Catwoman talking about like fucking white privilege and like dumb shit like that, and like, not fighting, beating down criminals because they're a symptom of like bigger problems or whatever. Like he should be going after corrupt politicians. Like that was the tone of that movie, and that misses the point. The point is that the whole point of these characters are like heroes and villains is that we all make our own choices, right? So again, it's like it always comes back to that same thing. For every person that's a criminal because they're poor, there's somebody who's busting their ass working 2 to 3 jobs to support their family or to like try to pull themselves out of the dirt. And I think that like, it all comes down to the personal decisions of the person the person themselves. You get me? It's not really like it's not really a thing of like, well, this person had a hard life, so it's okay if they like drive into a marathon and hit everybody with their car, or this kid was bullied, so it's okay if he shoots up a high school. It's like we have to take accountability. And I think that I think a lot of these leftists hate heroism because heroism represents accountability.
And we know
Accountability.
Stone wanted to take accountability.
Yeah,
And
I want to
they
say something real
rather-
quick. Shout out to Silverfang, a fellow New Yorker, my guy. So
Oh, yeah.
give him a little
Well,
shout
New
out
York,
there.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, as you guys were saying,
Us New Yorkers got to
Yeah.
stick together.
I don't mind stopping by one day, but aside from that, yeah, it's like they also hate problem solving. They hate the idea that somebody sees something or a group of people see something and they say, you know what, we're gonna deal with that problem. Because one of the things that's going on in China for a while, for some years now, if somebody were to have like a heart attack or some kind of stroke, like in the middle of the street, nobody would try to really attend to them, because they have this mindset of, okay, if I help this person and there was a slip up, like I dropped them for accident, even though I was trying to help them, they might sue me or they might make me into a villain. And now they're bringing that mindset into America, where if you stand up against something or you try to help somebody, you might be at fault for doing the right thing because you made a slip up or whatever.
how
And
Orwellian, right? How very Orwellian.
right. And then of course they applied that kind of mindset with these
Well-
so-called superhero stories. Go on.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something crazy, right? Because in New York City, right, you go into you like people. They like when people talk about the crime in New York City and the shit that happens on a daily basis. It's usually not an exaggeration. Like New York City is a pretty like messed up. Like people look at like 42nd Street, they look at Times Square, it looks all nice or whatever, Upper West Side. But when you live in like anywhere outside of like the economic powerhouses of New York City, like people, you can be in the train getting the shit beat out of you, and people will walk by like nothing happened. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's how people
Mhm.
are in this city. You can be like in the middle. You can be in the middle of the street getting robbed. People will record. They'll record you before calling the cops, or they'll just walk. They'll walk past you because they don't want to deal with it for those very reasons. I mean, there was that case of what's his name, Daniel Penny. Daniel Penny. I don't remember his name, but he was there was a homeless person threatening people on the train, on the subway system, and he was like getting in people's faces, saying he doesn't care
I know what you're
if he
talking
lives or dies and stuff like that. And he ended up putting the guy in a rear naked choke, right? And choked him, and the guy ended up dying. I think he might have had drugs in his system as well. And
Yeah, the guy who
And-
choked him out was wasn't
a
he in
former
the military?
Marine. He was a former
Yeah,
Marine, and
That's what it was. Yeah.
he ended up going into the court system. So people are saying he should get life in prison, I believe, and stuff like that. But to me, like, people don't understand that, like, you're underground, trapped in a metal box, going at high speeds, and there are a lot of lunatics in the subway system. I'm not even joking. There's like literal people that walk
All the
around
time.
that are screaming like crazy shit, like schizos, like all kinds of shit. No offense to them, but like
Mhm.
they need help, but that
Yeah,
they're not getting help.
You're either
And
on the train or on the platform waiting for the train somewhere.
I don't even need to
So-
exaggerate. Like somebody could come to New York City. If they take the subway system for a week, they're gonna see people like this at least twice or 3 times in that week. And what happens
You don't
is
even
that
spend a
these
week to see it.
and the thing is that the news doesn't talk about it. People get pushed into the tracks. People get There was
Yep.
another thing where somebody got shot in a train car not too long ago. Like
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
it's
there was a
so
video for it.
dangerous.
Someone got stabbed too. And all
Yeah,
that.
it's so dangerous that when somebody's on a train saying, "I don't care if I live or die," and is threatening people, and you're trapped in a metal box, that guy who stood up and choked him unconscious, unfortunately, he died. That person did a thing to try to protect the other people that were in the subway with him. You get what I'm saying? A lot of times these moms are like, you have single moms, you have people going to work at 4 or 5 in the morning, and you know, New York City is not a state where you can carry you know, like
Firearms.
firearms or anything like that. So you are helpless. You are helpless to what the criminals do in the city. That's why, like, you know, to say that this guy should get life in prison for trying to like stand up and defend people, I think is, you know, it's crazy. And you could say these people need help, but guess what? They're not getting help. And what does it matter if you're fucking dead, right? It's like, yeah, they need help. They're not getting help, and they still like are harming people, pushing people in tracks. It's like the safety of citizens that are you know, helping the economy and the system, that are, you know, upstanding citizens going to work and with families, that they should be protected. You get what I'm getting at? So I'm not going to go too I'm not going to go too much deeper into it because it's something I'm very passionate about. But like, that's why like states like Chicago and all these things, like they piss me off so much, because all the legislation is just to make you rely on a government that's apathetic to you. And you know, it's very disheartening. And I think that the attack on heroes, accountability, and heroism is also in line with that ideology. You know, there's a connection there into how these people think. And when you think about LA and New York being large centers in the United States of like artists, right? Because, you know, all the art schools and the industry, it makes sense that those ideologies bleed into the work. And you have things like Has Been Hotel. You have things like you know, you have confused morality. You have like a lot of the shit that comes out of LA and California. So I'm gonna end it there, but I could go on and on about this, and it's a fucked up subject.
Yeah.
But
Well,
let's
before
go
we
back
get
to-
into the next topic, figured I let Octo Commander and Melina Chun give their overall thoughts on the Xbox showcase before we move on. So
Xbox
Octo Commander?
Showcase. Okay, Xbox Showcase. Only thing that kind of worked with me was the Black Ops 6 trailer, not the presentation after, because one of the things I just hate about those kind of previews is those kind of presentations is the fact they don't have a narrator, just like, you know, how the behind the scenes of making a movie, remember those in the 90s where they would have
I
just like a
remember.
single narrator, and then they would have some of the staff members mention something and that's it. But now you got these developers act like they're celebrities. Like, no, you're just making video games. Just make your point.
Yeah, right.
Stop
That's
trying to
what
have
I
like
was
you're
saying
so
that before.
special.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, and then of course it's all, and of course
that's
it's
like
a
the
part
biggest problem
advertisement.
with like. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just gonna say that's like the
Okay.
biggest problem with like modern games now, where it's like all these developers think like they're a celebrity, think they're bigger than the game that they're making or the studio they're working for.
Exactly, and of course it's advertisement for them to go to a different job. Next, let's see what else we have here. There was some other game that kind of got my attention, but a lot of it is you know, a lot of it is everybody's looking at over each other's, you know, shoulders in the test. You know, they got that kid looking over the other kids, you know, how they doing a test. So everybody's copying everybody. And
that's what
and like, for example, like I remember beat 'em ups used to be like 5 people you got to take on. Even when you find the boss, you have to take on other people. Now it's all this thing of the boss is doing this special attack and he's taking 50 hits, and he does another special attack, he takes another 50 hits, and it's just like, And then of course you got the excessive amount of use of lights and stuff like that, and it's all just so much the same. And of course you got these ugly women that got hit by an ugly stick, and all this kind of just borderline just repetitiveness, depressing visuals, and it just all seems just so much the same. And that's
Yeah.
kind of my take on it. Just opt out or just make your own stuff.
Doing
That's my take.
doing
Yep.
whatever is popular in an attempt to cheaply cash in. And I
Yeah.
agree with you. That's why,
Mhm.
like, for me, I make my own media. I'm making my own stuff because of that reason. So, like, my own animated series. I want to make my own games, my own things, and they might be low budget, but at least they'll be at least currently, but at least they'll be creative vision and not corporately mandated. So,
Better than a lot of the other stuff, I can tell you that. And
and
congrats on that Batman video. Good grief, that went to the
oh yeah,
stratosphere.
a million views in like in about a month. I'm
Oh
pretty
yeah.
proud of that video. Um,
That was a statement of anger. I love it.
yeah. Yes, the fandom came together. I tapped into their collective souls. No, but
Yes.
Well
but
deserved too. It's really good.
but
Spirit bomb.
but I'm trying to make my own stuff too. So thankfully that video got eyes on my original project Augur. And the stuff we were talking about before, that series is going to actually address those issues that we were talking about before about crime and like accountability and stuff. That's the
Mhm.
basis of the story. So I hope that people will check that out as that progresses. But that's not the point. So like moving on. So Melina, what are your thoughts on it?
Sorry.
Um.
Oh my. Oh, go on. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. You can go ahead.
Oh no. I'm pretty much done with the Xbox showcase. Not sure what else to say. Can't remember anyway.
Honestly,
I don't blame
I
you.
don't really, I don't really, yeah, right. I don't blame you because I don't really have much to say myself besides, I'm really excited. Like the only games that intrigued me were Doom and Gears of War, even though I don't have much experience with games Gears of War. But I do enjoy the series, and I intend to get into it, especially more so now since the game is coming out. But since what Jim Pachi said earlier, now it has me worried. And Metal Gear Solid, I'm interested in, but then knowing that it's a remake of two, I'm not too sure. Even I mean, not two.
3, yeah.
The three. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I my personal favorite is two because I like how meta it is, but
Oh hell yeah.
yeah, I love two, but with three, I enjoy it as well. It's a little bit vague for me, but I am worried with how they're gonna handle Eve and the boss. It's just like that has me
Mhm.
worried. So the one I kind of feel less worried about is Doom because you don't have to worry about explicit women in there. There shouldn't be too much agendas because all it is you're playing as a guy just killing
Mm.
demons. So I like
Well,
how
well,
it.
well. I'll say one thing just to interrupt you. Hold your thought.
Mhm.
In Doom Eternal, there was a line where they were making fun of leftists because they were calling them demons. What was it called? Living in
Mortally challenged.
mortally challenged people. So there was like a little shot at them there, and that actually like got a little bit of backlash before the game released. And then they stopped showing that, and I thought they took it out. And then when I played the game, I actually saw it was still in the game. But it's kind of funny how even though Doom is apolitical, there something like that still kind of found its way in there. So that's why I think that Dark Age might have some stuff like that on the other end of the spectrum might find its way in there. Like I said, you'll be surprised. You'll be like, there's always that one video log. There's that one note that you find, that one, whatever like record that you read, and it'll have some crazy shit written on it that'll like blow your mind that it somehow got in there. So I have to like, but you're right. The Doom is has a higher chance of being safe, but I'm still gonna be skeptical until and have a wait and see mentality, for that reason.
Mhm.
But anyway, continue on. I just wanted to point that out because.
Well, I'm glad you told me that honestly, because I didn't know that. Because I still gotta finish Doom 2016, and then get to Doom Eternal. And again, now that, and it's crazy too how it came up in my head. Like, man, I need to finish Doom because it takes up so much space. I had to get rid of that game to um add two more games on there. But now with that in there, now that makes me worried for Dark Ages because I like how it looks, how it takes place. But I love the cape. The fur cape is thick as hell, so I'm excited for it. But now they put a little bit of a sprinkled a little little something in their agenda in there. Now they kind of have me worried, but I hope not. I hope it shouldn't be affected as much compared to the rest of the showcase.
Mhm.
Other than that, I mean, I saw the whatchamacallit, Perfect Dark. Didn't grew up with that either, but I know of the game and I know how the main lead, like the protagonist, looks, and it just bothered me. I just busted out laughing seeing her strong face. I was
Come
like,
on,
ew.
she's the next big thing, Brock Lesnar.
Oh yes, with that mighty strong, slightly butt chin, and it's just
Bro,
because
Her
it
chin
got
is
a
the
little
next
crack right
big
there.
thing.
she's
For
gonna
Yeah.
real.
she's gonna be punching boulders with Chris Redfield soon.
Oh my God, and I can see it too. And it's just I know how she actually looks, and it's just like, what is this? Just keep the helmet on, like what? And then there was no reason because there's no reason even showing that for the sole purpose of showing sprinkling in some agenda because it's gonna be in first person anyway,
Mhm.
unless the cutscenes are gonna show like a third person perspective. Other than that, they deliberately show that like the first few seconds in, I believe, because to sprinkle that because I'm pretty sure she looks like somebody on that team. That's who I know
It,
somebody looks like her on that team.
she
Or
looks
who she's modeled after.
she kind of looks like on the her upper like eye and nose area kind of looks like Greta Thunberg, and then they put Brock Lesnar's chin at the bottom.
Oh my
Yo,
God.
Then they gave her
she
like the
looks like Quagmire.
She
hell
does.
yeah.
Giggity, giggity, goo.
She look like Peter Griffin a little bit with that butt chin.
Giggity giggity giggity.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was
I'm the
hilarious.
new lady.
Oh,
Oh
man.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Macho.
But Melina, I want to say something because you mentioned Metal Gear 2 Solid 2 being your favorite one. I love
Yeah.
that game as well. And isn't it crazy? I think I don't know if you were here when we talked about it before, but the AI, what they were talking about in that game is like crazy reflective of where we're at now.
Where we at
You
now?
know?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like
That's why I love
super
that game
ahead of its time. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I
They
like
need
the
to
game.
remake that.
I will say one thing about that game that I thought was better than 3 in a way is that I kind of like how it was meta as well, and I also like how like smooth the game felt. Like it
Yeah.
just felt like very smooth. Everything felt like it wasn't over complicated. It was like Metal Gear Solid 1, but just better.
Right.
So
More refined.
it
Yeah.
it's very balanced. I like that game for that reason too. The only thing that I like about 3 more is the CQC, but that's just because I'm like a martial arts nerd. So I love like grappling, like judo, wrestling, like stuff like that. So the fact that they implemented that in that game the way they did, I thought was really cool. But that's like the only thing I think that was like a little better.
Is Metal Gear 3 known to be? Well, I know that and heard that Metal Gear Solid 2 has gotten a lot of flack like during the time it came out. Because I was gonna ask like, is 3 the more popular one? Because the trend
Three
of
is the
the
most
remake.
popular.
Okay.
Three is the most popular one. But like I generally like for me personally, I think the entire series 1 through 5 are very good. 5 being the weakest for narrative reasons, but really strong gameplay wise. But 3 is the most popular. I would say 2 is probably like their best overall game in terms of like how well the story is written. Because 3 is philosophical, but 2 is more of like they're both philosophical, but 2 asks more like existential questions, while 3 is more like war philosophy, like political philosophy. Um, but 2, and I think a lot of people don't really understand Metal Gear Solid 2 because the initial backlash was that Metal Gear Solid 2 had you play as Raiden, and the marketing had you playing as Solid Snake for what most of what they showed. But Solid Snake, when you actually play the game, is such a small part of the game. It's like 20% of the game max. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think
Actually, there was.
people were pissed off because of that.
Yeah.
And plus, they
Actually,
didn't want to see they
Raiden was
didn't want
supposed to
to see.
actually have either a buzz cut or look like Cyborg Ninja. That's how Raiden was kind of originally was supposed to be.
Well,
But of course,
well,
Kojima had to pull that. So go on.
I heard that Raiden was gonna have his hair, and it was supposed to be burned off, and then he had different wigs throughout the game. They granted him different ability. I've heard this, and the people like the Kojima's team like pleaded with him not to do it, and they ended up not doing that. But that shit would have been so funny if he was had his hair burnt off. He had to find wigs. Like,
I would have took this here ASAP.
But they still added that into the game to a lesser degree because you unlock different wigs that have different abilities. So the concept stood around, but thank God they didn't do Raiden like that. Like,
Yeah, thank God.
I'm sorry. I would have cooked his wig as soon as I saw him. I'm sorry. I would have had him bald. I'm sorry.
for real, give him that
I'm
Stone
afraid
Cold.
right there.
I like Raiden's hair.
Yeah.
You know, there's a special cutscene that plays. I showed it off when I last streamed Metal Gear Solid 2. You know the part where what's her name, Emma? When Emma's walking across the thing, you have to cover her with the sniper.
Yeah.
If you listen to her with the microphone, she talks to herself and she's like thinking about Raiden, and he's like, that hair, it looks weird to me. Like, is that even his real hair or whatever? And then if you call her, Raiden will like call her pissed off. Like, it's my, like, what do you mean? It's my real hair. Like, not even giving a shit about the fact that he was like listening in on her.
Oh, I
It's
gotta
so
find
stupid.
that. That's so funny.
It is. It's ridiculous. And like, but he calls like it sounds like he's so like pissed off that she even questioned it. Like,
Yeah, but that's the crazy thing, though. You won't have anything like that in the new games because they don't. And that's the other thing. They hate humor. You got these comedians who are like all anti-Trump and leftists or whatever, but they are saying that they're just noticing that it can't be funny. I remember that Chapo, that Canadian television executive guy, right? The one with the glasses. He was talking about that there is no pure comedy anymore. There is no Caddyshack. There's no, like Ghostbusters or, even scary movies. There's nothing just pure, just straight up comedy. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, we got some jokes here and there, but we got to make sure it's like something from Spike Lee. I'm just like, I want to laugh my ass off, not feel depressed.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Now
And then
everything's
whatever
everything's
jokes they
offensive.
do have are cringy and corny. Like they're not
Everything
even
is-
funny anyway.
That's true.
Exactly. Because think about Saints Row. That's a great example. Think about how funny Saints Row 1 through 3 are. Whether you like 3 or not, you can't deny that game is hilarious. And then 4, and 4 was also funny as well. 4 was hilarious as well. And then
Yeah, it had its
and
moments.
I
too.
actually meant reboot. Think of the original Saints Row, the reboot. The original had offensive humor.
Yeah.
But it was funny. It was like offensive humor isn't offensive because it's funny. It's like it's clearly like jokes. They're meant to make people laugh. But then in reboot, all the jokes are cringy because they're safe jokes, like
Safe for the whole family, which is none.
corny. They think that having the main character say fuck 100 times back to back is supposed to be funny.
Supposed to be funny.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you had Zinniac
Yeah, right.
singing at the end of Saints Row 4. I don't care if you like that game or not. That game was fucking hilarious. I like Saints Row 4. It shouldn't have been Saints Row, but damn, that game was funny.
Right.
Like,
Right.
like Zinniac
I'm
singing was
concerned
fucking
about GTA
ridiculous.
6. Like, are they going to have any of those, crazy, radio shows they used to have? Because I remember, I mean, GTA was so, funny and satirical that I didn't even mind just playing the radio stations, like while I'm drawing or whatever, because they're so damn funny. They hit to the point. But now thinking about GTA 6, I'm just like, oh no, they're going to be all safe and they're going to say, oh, well, we can't add that joke because it might hurt somebody's feelings on Twitter,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, look, here's the thing. Any joke you make is going to offend somebody. You can make a joke about animals. There's going to be somebody from PETA that's going to take that offensive or some shit like that. Like, in the end of the day, like, I think that, like, humor has always existed to lessen the blow of reality. And I think that the thing that people don't like about it is that a lot of like jokes, especially based on stereotypes, there is some smidget of truth to them, and it makes certain people feel uncomfortable. But most sane people understand that it's just a joke for laughs. You get what I'm saying? It's like the crazy Latina thing. Of course, a lot of Latinas aren't crazy, but is kind of like just a joke. It's like a joke because in reality
I get what you're saying.
there are a lot of spicy Latinas that like fucking flip out. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
that they're all like that, but that's how it is. It's just a joke, with some basis of reality to it. And I think that it makes them uncomfortable because it makes you feel like you're talking down and talking bad about whatever like group they're part of when it's really bringing people together so that they can laugh, And I think that comedy is okay as long as it makes fun of everybody, not just specific people. Everybody, nothing should like either you make fun of everybody or you can make fun of nobody.
Right.
Yeah. But speaking of jokes and comedy, next topic with Ubisoft, their stream, the Ubisoft Forward stream. They showed Star Wars Outlaws, more of that. I think they already put a release date for it. I don't remember when it's coming out. I don't care.
Outlaws.
And showed off. Yeah. And they showed the Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay. And
Wait a
that's
minute.
been getting some backlash, rightfully so, for what it is, for what they showed.
Yeah, I mean, well, Assassin's Creed Shadows is a joke.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Shadows is a migrant simulator. Enough said.
Yep.
You know what? These are the same journalists that were pissed off that you were killing Africans as Chris in Resident Evil 5 are the same ones who see nothing wrong with Yasuke massacring and brutalizing Asians in Japan.
Right. Like
Like, I mean, if you're gonna be a sensitive lefty, at least be consistent.
Right. And when it came to Yasuke, the original perception when they were talking about it, like one of the first books to talk about it was a kid's book. And pretty much they were just explaining that, he was just, someone different and, was fascinating and he didn't come off as this like negative figure that hurt people or anything like that. He was just someone that was just from a different world. He looks different. They didn't really believe that he was black, and supposedly there were stories of people actually causing a stampede because they wanted to see him.
Yeah, he was an
wanted to
attraction.
see him.
It
Right,
was
they weren't
like
running away
seeing
from him.
it was like seeing the 7-foot tall man, or like the seeing like like a spectacle, like, and
Right.
That's all he was.
and look, here's the thing about Yasuke. Even though we all know I mean, it's been talked about to death, right? About how Yasuke was a retainer. He was more of like an attraction. Nobunaga was fascinated by him. All of these things. That's been talked about to death. Let's pretend that he was an actual samurai that saw combat and was an actual fighter in Japan, right? Let's say like that somehow was true, right? Even though we know it's not. You got to think about the mentality that Ubisoft has. They look at the entire insane history of all the crazy conflicts, battles in Japan. You think about Muramasa, you think about all this shit from Japan, and then you're saying, well, we looked at Japan's history and we're going to choose the one time an African was a samurai there as the basis for our game. So there's no way to look at it that it's not that it's not an agenda driven game. It's not like Japan had multiple African samurai throughout history and he was just one of many, right? Like they took the one specific time that this happened.
You point this out to people, and it's like they can't see the agenda that's being pushed.
Yeah,
it's like where are these people like that, like lost, where it's like they don't see what's so painstakingly obvious? What was that, Melina?
I'm sorry. For me, you had cut out. I thought you had finished. I was saying to them, that's their representation. That's the best that they can get. They want to lower their standards and settle for less.
And you know what's
That's
a
true,
shame?
yeah.
It's a
You
shame.
see it so many times, even when they like reboot shows and movies or do some little like spin on the, Hollywood's take on something.
Yeah, and again, like it's like one of those things where you could have an Assassin's Creed, you can have a game that took place in Africa where you're playing as like some of the legendary African warriors, like the Zulus and stuff like that. They could actually make really cool shit. I think like even though I think the movie Black Panther, I thought the Black Panther movie was kind of mediocre overall, to be honest. But at least that they had they had African warriors that looked kind of badass. You know, I'm not gonna lie, like some of the shit they were doing was kind of cool, and I'm like, if you make something original with this kind of like these kind of characters, I think it could work. You know, Black Panther might have been mediocre, but at least they portrayed like African warriors. You get what I'm saying? And I think that there's a place for that, and I think that people would warm up to that idea. I think what people don't realize is a lot of the backlash comes from them taking like forcing DEI in games where like, you know, where it just makes no sense for it to be there, or it's clearly agenda based. Like, I'm gonna use Resident Evil 5 for an example. I don't think I've heard one person complain about Sheva or Josh, you know, their ethnicities when that game came out, because it made sense within the place that they were. The characters were like pretty cool. I actually liked Josh when I first played that game. A lot of people forget about him, but I thought
people just complain about Sheva because she kept taking all your grenades and healing items.
Yeah, and she was like, her AI was terrible, but like, I'm talking about like as far as them being African characters, I don't think anyone had a problem with it, and I didn't have a problem with it. And like I said, I like Josh. I thought Josh was cool. I like the mercenaries that you could play with him. I liked that he was heroic, you know, like. But again, when you're taking a game like Assassin's Creed, you have it taking place in the Sengoku era of Japan, and you're like, all right, we know we have all these legendary samurai that have been recorded and their battles documented, but you know what? We're gonna go with Yasuke, and they want people to believe that it's in good faith. I think that just shows how they think that people are stupid and they don't care, you know, about you know, they don't care, and they think that they were all dumbasses and they were all gonna just drink the Kool-Aid, like as if we don't have brains and working eyes. So
yeah, and you think they would think about historical figures like Hattori Hanzo, the shinobis of Iga, Koga, Nagoro ninjas, you know, all these different guerrilla warfare type individuals that existed in actual Japan. Like for example, how crazy some of the ninjas were. They would actually burrow underground with explosives, waiting for samurais from the enemy camp to show up, and they would just detonate.
Oh yeah, I know about that,
blow
yeah.
up kamikaze. Like, they did all kinds of unreal stuff. And what did they do? They go and bring somebody that's borderline subjective history, and it's like, you know, of all the things that you could have, all the people you could have chosen, you know, and even the samurais, like for example, Hideyoshi Toyotomi. If you looked into his history, he was the second shogun of Japan that tried to unite the country. He almost did. But if you looked at his history before he became shogun, you would think he was actually a ninja. Like one time he threw a heavy stone, but when he was being chased, he threw a heavy stone and he screamed like he was dying. And then his chasers thought, oh, he died because they heard something like a thump and they're screaming. But it turns out, you know, he was just tricking them. And you would think, you know, like this guy was probably a ninja. But no, they didn't they didn't pick him. They could pick so many people, but they go and do this to us.
Well, I want to say a few things actually. So bear with me. I want to respond to a couple comments, and I'm gonna say a thought that I had about this. Emerald Torres says, "What can you expect from French Canadians?" Yeah, it's French Canadians. You hear French Canadian company, you should automatically assume they're extremely far left. I'm sorry, like that's been true for the most part, and like like I don't think I need to say more about French Canadians. I think we all like know about that, right? Everyone here is familiar with how far left they've gone. But so I agree with that. And then I Am Mob said they put Tories as entrances to the villages, no shrines. Yeah, they're like the Shinto shrines. They talk about all this historical shit and paying attention to detail, but where are the shrines at? And the Buddha shrines. And Dad Hip says, "Yep, he says most people don't care, Jinpachi. That is the problem. Just consume. AC fans are slaves to the franchise." Yeah, I've been saying that for years, man. I've been saying that since forever. If you watch some of the older videos I've been in with Revenant, I've always referred to them as corporate slaves. AC fans are addicted to the games, and they're gonna buy them just because they're popular. I mean, not just because it's AC. No matter how bad the games are,
They'll stick around for whatever new game it is. Yeah, it doesn't matter what it looks like. They can turn into a racing game, a first-person shooter, whatever.
there's like
they can turn into a walking simulator. They'll still get it and try to justify it.
there's like a noise in the background, like a TV or something. I don't know who that is.
It might be Octo Commander.
Yeah. So it's just like it's really like flooding into the chat.
All right, let me turn the volume down. Hold on. Just turn on the volume on my cell phone. Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking also, just like they could have also picked like a Yamabushi as well. Like I said, there's so many people they could have picked.
Well,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
so the next
that he could have went with. So, and they purposely went with the one that will increase your ESG score. And they call the activist,
and then they added a woman alongside, and not just any woman, but the mythical modern audience woman who looks very androgynous.
What's his face? I keep forgetting his name. He actually, in real life, he had a son. He didn't have a daughter, but in this game, he has a daughter, and who was Naoe, and obviously, she doesn't look very feminine.
The legendary androgynous woman.
Yeah, and the voice acting is pretty ass too from both of them.
Yo,
I don't know if you guys heard.
Octo Commando, the volume from the TV is still kind of bleeding through a lot. But
testing. Okay, wait, hold on. Let's see here about the just a quick thing about the chick. I posted a picture on Twitter talking about the different hairstyles they could have had given her, and one of the reasons why I also talked about it is the fact that she is supposed to be a shinobi. A shinobi is not supposed to deviate from the norm wherever they go.
Kunoichi specifically.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's not a male. She's not a male ninja. But again, like like they like their.
Isn't Ubisoft calling her a shinobi though?
Yeah, because they like their gender neutral words. Women are not allowed to exist as women have to be men and men have to be women according to like these far left fucking companies and groups. That's what it is. I mean,
they don't know what gender either character is.
Yeah. So to them, it's like we want as much gender neutral language as we can. It's like, don't call her an actress, call her an actor. It's like, no, there's a reason why there is a distinction between the two, and one is female, and it's not sexist to use a term for females, and it's not sexist to use a term for males if it specifically relates to them. That's called efficient use of language. But anyway,
don't say amen, they say ah woman.
Yeah, but the thing also is that if they really wanted to go to the DEI route, they were oppressed peoples in Japan. A lot of the problems between the shinobis and the villagers and the samurai were because of the class system, that Japan had. So like, there's like, if they want to tell us a story about marginalized people and fighting oppression, they could focus on that aspect too of their society. So there was no need to add like Yasuke as the main character, or have like you play as a specific female kunoichi or whatever. They could have had it be based on that, but again, notice how
the original story was going to be you play as a male who was a monk. So
neither character is a male Japanese person. And that is not an accident. That's not because they thought one would be better for the story. That was entirely because women increase ESG scores, especially when they look, when they don't look that feminine, or when they're gay. And ethnic characters, minorities, they increase your ESG score. So if they're like,
he's also going to be gay too.
Yeah. So, it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
Right. And the other thing is, like, for example, if they actually did their research, people in Japan, for example, back in that time, each particular region had their own form of dialect. It was kind of like Europe. And the other thing is, you can't just walk any old place in Japan back then. They would be checkpoints. They will look at your stuff. They'll ask for papers, and you had the peasant class. First you had the merchant class, the peasants, then you had the samurai class, and then you had the daimyos, and then you had the shogun, and then you had the emperor. So you already have that caste system. And a shinobi actually was not able to disguise themselves as a daimyo. They could be disguise themselves as an enemy samurai, but they cannot be a daimyo, because one of the things about those people is the fact that they even have their own dialect and etiquette. And if a
Yep.
shinobi was to do that, they would get instantly spotted and killed on sight.
Exactly, and that was my point I was making before. That there's a whole, if they want to talk about stories about oppression and shit, they could have done that with just the class system in Japan. That alone is like that has those dynamics. They didn't need to add all that stuff in.
Octo
But
Commander,
also, bro,
don't have that,
Octo Commander, you gotta
noise
lower
on
that down, because it sounds like Charlie Brown when the teacher's
Oh
talking.
yeah.
Womp, womp, womp. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Okay, hold on. All right, let me go and press mute. All right,
Yeah.
let me press mute on my mic.
Yeah, because it sounds like Charlie Brown when he stops listening when the teachers are talking. He's just
Yeah.
talking like womp 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 womp.
Yeah, that hit. We heard that rap beat. We heard that beat. That shit was fire, yo. What you talking about?
That sounded
Come on,
so
my guy.
unnatural. That unnaturalness of it made it sound so much funnier.
Come on, my guy. That was off the chain.
For real. That shit was fire for real, for real.
Mm.
What was that, Melina?
I like to add a little something because I'm noticing as I'm listening to you guys, especially Commander, when he was able to simply just look up, do a Google search, wrote down some notes, and was
Can you
able
speak
to.
a little louder? Your voice
Oh,
sounds a little low.
can you hear me now?
I can hear
Yeah,
you,
you
just a little low.
Oh, I'm a little low. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, God, I hate I'm having so many audio issues.
it's all right.
Okay. Do I still sound low now?
No, you sound perfect.
Okay,
Mhm.
perfect. I love how while listening to you guys, especially with Commander, that he's able to do. I'm pretty sure like a Google search. Able to write down some of these notes specifically for this live to be able to provide some accurate history where Assassin's Creed Shadows would take place in during those times, and how Assassin's Creed series is supposed to be. It's because honestly, anything that it's all going to be historical, like fiction. Like it's never going to be that accurate to like that what they're basing it off of. It's not
It's
going to be 100%.
it's what if history,
It's
basically.
yes, it's what if
Mhm.
history, but they still try to make it. I'm about to say I can't get the word, not relevant, but close enough to the history as possible. And when I look at Assassin's Creed Shadows and how basically you just have the token black man character, and like you have the two most oppressed during back in those day and ages, two oppressive types of people be the main leads and characters during that time period, which is it's not only like historically incorrect, but it is just beyond ridiculous because it doesn't even seem right knowing that a woman even though she's supposed to be a kunoichi, but is a shinobi. And then you have the token black man, which it just disgusts me that black people still want to be or find that it is okay to have a black representation, but be that token black character. And then you're slaying a whole bunch of like you're in a foreign
Japanese
place
people.
and you're slaying a whole bunch of Japanese people. It's just beyond ridiculous, and that the
Isn't that a cultural appropriation?
it is yeah, it's actually a
With, with,
cultural
with what they're
appropriation.
doing?
Hmm. Yeah, it is, and I didn't know that Ubisoft was mainly French Canadian. That's that's I don't know if because are they a bunch of old people that are just really out of touch, or really young people but didn't have a good
I think
experience
it's a
with gaming?
combination. It's
Oh
like a
God.
bunch of like young, old French Canadian liberals that got DI and ESG so far up their asses, where it's like they're so convinced that this is the right thing to do, the right direction, and I'm convinced that even if ESG wasn't even a thing, like they would still do it because again,
Well,
like
they're
all
French
all
Canadian. They
yeah,
did
all
that since
this
they did that shit in Assassin's Creed 3.
yeah, so all this stuff aligns with their ideologies because they're liberals. So
Yeah.
Well,
that at least that's what I think.
well, I when you guys had said about how like what they feel that is right, like these are their ideals, and then they are implementing it into like video games, like in the media. So like I'm not gonna lie, and this is not to be rude or hit below the belt. I am genuinely actually serious when I say this. So it's like, okay, well, if I come across like one of the creators at Ubisoft, eh, so I'm expecting to see like a guy that works there. He's a cuck, and he has a masculine looking wife or girlfriend, and the women are all masculine looking, and they have cucks for husbands. So like, I'm what I'm saying is like, if these are their ideals, I hope they practice what they preach, and that's what they actually are, and how they look, and their relationships, and all that is like that in real life. Because if so, that's some huge ass hypocrisy. If
Yeah.
you have these ideals, but you actually don't live what you preach or what your ideals are. Like that's what I expect to see. So,
Well,
because I don't know these
of course, it's
creators like that.
hypocrisy. There's a lot of
Yeah,
hypocrisy. I
yeah.
That
mean,
hip,
like
yeah, they're from Canada.
Montreal,
It's very
Montreal as well.
Montreal. It's very liberal.
Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Anyway, what
that's
was you
just my
saying?
2 cents on it because it
well,
doesn't
you
make
know,
any sense. Like it's just beyond unrealistic. But then you don't want big-breasted women in video games. Like that's just oh my god. But then you're okay with masculine ass looking women, and I'm like, if that's the case,
Or
then I'm
gore,
that's
ready
right?
to
Like
next. You
they can
know,
all
be
be
that's
married
what
they
to
they're
can
them.
all be
married to.
covered. They can
That's
all
what
be
they're
Yeah.
married
covered
to.
in blood and dirt and shit like that. But then it's
That's
like
what
you can't
that's what
like
they're married to. They're in
ha-
an open
yeah.
relationship, and his wife's boyfriend buys him gifts on you know
Yeah.
like that's what it is, man. Because like again, like back in the day, games were made by like the original Doom team, like I was gonna say Yo Romero, the fucking fighter.
What?
John, there's Yo Romero's Cuban fighter. I'm sorry, I meant John Romero and McCormack and stuff. They were nerds that were obsessed with metal. So what is Doom? It's about this beefy masculine dude. None of those dudes look like remotely close to Doom guy. Those guys look like they never played a sport in their life, but they made idealized like that's the difference. Like male nerds would make heroic, masculine, badass characters that they want to be like. SJWs try to water things down to be as weak and pathetic as they are.
Emerald
So
Taurus. Yeah, they did have a sexual harassment thing going on with it started with when during Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the one of the directors had left the studio, or I think he took a leave of absence, but then eventually left shortly afterwards. Um, before the game came out, and this is the same guy who was the director for Black Flag and Origins. And there was also other I think other people had left too during that time because it wasn't even just him that was being accused of it. And I think it ended up being true because I think he wrote something like I got to reflect on myself and past mistakes or just
basically
something along those lines.
bullshit. Basically, I got caught and now I have to pretend I'm remorseful.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
basically that, and there was a few other people as well. I mean, it might as well be like Blizzard at this point, like Activision
you know,
Blizzard. So
never trust. I will always trust the man who says he likes badass male characters and big ass titties over the guy who lies and pretends he doesn't like that while his wife's boyfriend watches over him.
Because they're low key ashamed of themselves. That's why.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Like even like women, like based women in the past, like even if the artist wasn't, I mean, no offense to them, but like they might not be like, you know, the ideal like whatever standard is, but they would create beautiful characters because they liked beauty. They were creating things that they wanted to see and look at. They weren't trying to self-insert into it. And I think like back to what I was saying before. Developers in the past made characters that they wanted to see, that looked like the kind of things that they like. That even if they themselves were like some scrawny programmer, that didn't stop them from making these like heroic Conan the Barbarian, Kratos like characters, right? And because they knew that it was idealized fiction. And I think that we're losing that because as graphics get better and you have all these SJWs in the game, they're like, wait, graphics are so great now. Now I can make them look like me. Now they can look, quote unquote, like
yeah.
whatever. And the reality is that nobody wants to play that.
They're like themselves and their friends.
I blame Shrek. I blame movies like Shrek because, of course, it's one thing to tell kids, oh, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter how you look and all that jazz, but those are kids. That's one. Number two, these people, I had this theory for a while that these people are not interested in selling games or selling anything at all. Now, one of the things about entertainment is that when you're putting stuff on television, in movies or whatever, that costs money, right? Like, for example, the Japanese, when they were making so many animes and how they got so got an increase in the animation quality was the fact that they had music to support them. You notice these ending themes, they had these little pop songs, whatever, right? These professional artists.
There was some fucking hot ones too. Like Bleach,
right?
The ending theme of Bleach, the first one, that was a great ending theme.
Right. All that stuff. The music companies subsidize the anime companies. The anime companies, animation, whatever, they can't support themselves. Even cartoons like He-Man, Transformers, all those things. Those cartoons were advertisements for the action figures.
For toys, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're going to have something like now Last of Us 2, you can't sell action figures of Abby. You can't sell action figures of, the other main character. They're too miserable looking. They're just a mess. They're not going to sell those things too well. It's the only thing they're going to probably sell is some high grade figure that costs about $500.
Well, they sell something.
They can sell.
They do.
Yeah,
sell
but it's not.
They sell shows, and they sell woke shows and woke movies, and the name
but
recognition.
Then again,
I'm not saying it's successful, but that's what they sell.
But that's the thing, though. Even if they do have television programs, those television programs have to make a return in something because it's constantly in a money sink. They keep constantly putting money and investing money into talent, into advertisement, and all these different things. And these people don't want to sell a message because one of the other things is not to knock Static Shock, but that was one of the first signs that told me that when I first saw it, I saw the enemies for the show. That kind of told me that these people kind of weren't interested in selling toys. Compare Static Shock to, let's say, Captain Planet. Even though those two were kind of pseudo social message and type television.
Especially Captain Planet.
Yeah, Captain Planet. Now think about it. Think about Captain Planet.
But hold on. Before we say anything, let's put some respect on Captain Planet because that show was kind of hot, bro. That show was serious business.
Right.
Come on. Inca had water. What's the other dude with Earth? What's his name? That show was that was a good one, man.
But that's the thing, though. They designed it to have somebody to want to buy a figure, even though they were trying to sell a message. They knew they had to make a return, especially look how well they made those villains. They took their time to make sure each one of those villains look a particular way. And not just that, you have Captain Planet, you got the kids making Captain Planet. But that's the thing, though. They won't make anything like that because they're not interested in making money anymore. They're obsessed with this message. It's a money sink. Yep.
To me, like in my opinion, like I get what you're saying, but they just shifted the scheme to something else. Like, because all right, with Static Shock, like first with Static Shock.
Yes. I'm sorry. Static Shock. I'm sorry. Let me just make it quick. I'm sorry. Static Shock. My problem with Static Shock was the villains, because not the fact that Static could not have his own figure. That's that was the reason why the show couldn't continue, because they couldn't sell action figures, and I know why, because they only had Static to sell as a toy, and also the villains, they kind of look too normal. You know how
I
Superman's
guess.
villains, they
Yeah,
had these
they look
fantastical
extreme.
costumes
Yeah.
and they look like monsters. And you had like that electric girl. I forgot her name. She was the most coolest looking character,
You're talking about
even when she was
Livewire.
normal. Yeah,
Livewire.
Livewire. Even when she
Mhm.
was like villain mode and normal radio girl mode, she was the coolest thing when I saw her when she was a kid.
You should check out.
And
You should go on X. I actually did a picture of her. It's like on one of my posts. You should look at it. Like I did like a
I will
variation.
hunt
Yeah.
that down.
And
Yeah,
she,
but that's
He
the
gave those.
thing.
I
He
made
gave
I
those
made her
legs.
build. I made her
Yeah,
build.
yeah. Right. Cool. I'll check that out. And also, like I said, these people, like I said, sorry for the Static Shock fans, but I kind of looked at it as if I was a big corporate exec with a suit or whatever, and they showed me the villains, I would say, I'm sorry, you guys need to amplify the sellability of the villains. Static Shock is okay to sell for toys because the cartoon we as kids enjoy, but the big corporate people or everybody, the staff members making the show, they were probably in panic mode because they're like, hey, we made this cartoon. What we're gonna sell? Sell? You know? So
Yeah.
all right, go
I
on
think
with
I
what
think
you're saying.
Well, I was gonna say that I think the problem with Static, because all right, so while I agree with you that some of the villains were boring, there were actually some that I thought like looked kind of interesting that I actually thought were like memorable. Like for example, what's his name? Not Hotshot, the dude with the flaming hair. He looked like he was a Super Saiyan. He had like the
Oh
sagging
yeah,
pants and
yeah,
stuff. I thought he looked fucking cool. When I was a kid,
yeah.
I
He
thought he
did.
looked badass. And then
Also,
Rubber Band,
the girl with the ice,
yeah, she looked
Colton or
cool.
something like that.
And then you
White
had
hair.
you had what's his name? Lamont, the dude. He was like
Oh
in the
yeah, the
shadows.
shadow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
like I
what was the guy who stretched with the purple? I forgot his
Rubber
name.
Band Man, Rubber Band Man.
Yeah,
Like
him
there
too.
were
Yeah.
a few that I thought were interesting. So like I get like they had so many villains on that show, and a lot of them were forgettable. I'll admit that. But they had a handful of them that I thought were like pretty
Also,
cool. Like,
Gear. I mean, he's not a villain, but still, they could have
but
had to play him.
to me, the problem with Static Shock was like the brand recognition. Because remember, even though Static Shock existed before that show came out, nobody knew who the fuck he was unless he was like they were like hardcore like a comic reader, right? And like it's not like Superman or like Batman where like the brand recognition is so strong that you have like multiple generations knowing who the Joker is, knowing who Penguin is, or knowing who Lex Luthor is, or Brainiac or whatever. Like he was a much relatively newer character. So I think that like what they should have done actually with Static Shock was make more video games, kind of like spread him out like in the media so that people become more aware of his brand, and then they would be able to sell the figures because you
Mhm.
know brand recognition is so important, man. Like
True.
Transformers has been around since the 80s, and they were like the show was built to promote the toys, but the toys had the gimmick that they would transform into cars. You get what I'm saying? So there was such a strong gimmick that had like it was built around from the jump around making toys, and I think that's why Transformers has stood the test of time. And then like now Transformers has been around for what, like 50 years, right? More or less, like 40
Something like
years or
that.
something. So 40
Yeah,
years,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
so I think
40
that like
some years.
so I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying about the toys, but I feel like the bigger issue wasn't that the villains were cool, it's that people that didn't watch the cartoon didn't know who the fuck those characters were at all. While with
Uh,
Transformers, you have people that have bought the toys, right? That they've bought, they might not watch the cartoons, but they bought the toys, and then they say, oh wait, there's a show. They watch the show, see new Transformers, and then they buy more toys, and they say, oh wait, they're animals now. I gotta get the animal toys now, and like it crosses over. I think with your example of anime, one big thing is that anime sells the manga and manga sells the anime. People want to see the manga animated, but then the animation takes long, and then the show goes into hiatus, and then people buy the manga because they're desperate to continue the story. So
you're
I
welcome,
think like
IMX mob.
so I
Anyway,
think
back to
that
you, Sam.
so I think there's like deeper layers to it, and I do agree. I'm not like dismissing what you're saying because I think that is true as well. Like, but I think really it's the brand recognition that really screwed them over. And to Neil Druckmann and The Last of Us, I think because The Last of Us is like an ESG funded pet project, like Emerald Torres said.
Yep.
Um, the project, it might be failing, but the people making the projects are making money. So it's like Neil
Unfortunately.
Druckmann, unfortunately. So Neil Druckmann might say, all right, this game, I'm going to re-release Last of Us 1 because dumbasses who didn't like Last of Us 2 are still going to buy the game when they should know
Mhm.
better than to support them. And then that's going to sell the show. And then the show is being invested in by ESG. So Neil Druckmann and the creatives are making bank. The creatives, the people that are making bank at the highest levels don't care about the little guys. That's why like a Fast and the
Yeah.
Furious has 10 movies. That's why Resident Evil
Yeah.
has like 7 movies, because even though they're bad movies, the executives are making money and people keep watching it. You get what I'm saying? So that's kind of like
Mhm.
the deal with me with The Last of Us. People still bought Last of Us 1 remake. People knowing Last of Us 2 is ass still played the game because they like the fucking violence and gore. And
Yeah, that's
so the
mainly what sells it.
so in the end of the day, it's still making money and they're getting ESG money. So in order for it to fail, it has to lose its relevancy. So I agree. I'm not dismissing what you're saying. What you're saying is true. I just think there's a bit of a deeper layer to it than just not being able to sell toys and stuff like that. I think there's
Oh,
yeah. So that's basically what I was gonna say with that.
yeah,
But
yeah. It's always deeper.
yeah, but let's get into the last topic about Dragon Age, the Veilguard, they had a reveal trailer. What was it, during the Xbox showcase? I believe, yeah, that's what it was. And I think the next day or so they showed I think it was like 20 minutes of gameplay of like roughly like early on within the game.
But before we go into that, did you give what's his name? I am I am Mob. Did you give him the panel's names and stuff?
Yeah, I basically once I have this little thing on the bottom show up, you can't see our names. So I removed it and then he was able to see.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so continue on. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah. Um but any of you guys see the trailer and or gameplay?
I saw the trailer. I'm gonna be honest. I was never heavy on Dragon Age. Um, I never really I just never personally cared for the series like that. So I don't really have much of
Never
an
played it.
opinion. It looks, as far as like visuals go, I mean, like I definitely have more criticisms for that. Like, look at what, like,
Yeah.
I know about the Canary. I played which one? What, maybe Dragon Age 2 and Origins I played a little bit of. I don't remember, but I do know of like the monster designs, and the Canaries used to look like Shao Kahn motherfuckers, and now they look like, you know,
Yeah.
they look
They were never
pretty soft.
consistent with the designs for it though, for whatever reason. Like in
But
2, like they look really like cool, especially like the main one that you have to deal with. I can't remember his name. And then Inquisition, they had the gay Canary with the eye patch bull. And, he looked a little different. I don't remember. To be fair, I don't remember if they ever stated that the Canary was like they would never like look entirely the same. So that could be as to why. But the one they showed in the Veilguard trailer was fucking weird, and it's clearly supposed to be a female, but you know how they're
but they
making
never
the
look
females in that game.
this soft
Was
and androgynous though.
no, they never did. No.
No.
No
So
girls allowed.
Yeah.
for real. I'm sorry, Melina. That's the sad state now. No girls allowed,
Oh.
sadly. But yeah, like I all I know is from what I've seen of the designs, and they look pretty like shitty and like typical, like women looking like men looking, acting
Yeah.
and looking like bitches.
Especially the dwarf woman. Can't
Everyone's
remember her
gay.
name.
No such thing
Yeah.
as red. There's no such thing as redheads anymore. So even though dwarves that are usually
Yeah.
redheads are now dark haired, like
Varric, he was always a redhead, but now in this game he has black hair for some reason.
yeah. So it's like the
Like when the hell did
typical
this happen?
shit.
And on top of that, I think it was confirmed that all the characters can are not straight. So they're all gonna be able to. You can romance whoever you want. They're probably gonna flirt with you. It's probably like a Baldur's Gate 3 thing where it's like doesn't matter who it is, what their backstory is. It's not gonna be consistent. They're gonna all try to want to bang you every few seconds. As far as the trailer, it looked like some like a hero shooter type of trailer going on. The way it was like formatted, which did not scream Dragon Age whatsoever. And I think the people involved in Bioware, current Bioware, don't know what Dragon Age is. They don't understand it. They don't understand the fan base. It's just gonna be what they interpret it as, and have little to no respect for the lore and what the past teams at Bioware had worked with
Yeah.
it.
Well, I
And
think that's a symptom of a bigger problem, though. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know if you know about Baldur's Gate, where like, well, you know of the game. Like the older RPGs, like in the same vein as Dragon Age and Baldur's Gate, and even within their own series, were more about like the story and more about having your character choices affect the world and your relationships in terms of like whatever conflict you're going through, making friends, making allies, making enemies or whatever. But I think that with like modern writers, that was more of an excuse to do like their kind of like fan fiction, like, you know almost like, I would argue like borderline like fiction erotica kind of shit, because they're like more like, we want to create a game where you could be gay, marry people, do all kinds of like shit like that, but not so but like almost like something you'll see like in a Tumblr fan fiction, as opposed to having the choices be more about like the overall world building. You know what I'm saying? So for
Yeah,
example, like
that's what it looks like to me.
like The Witcher 3, you were like able to romance women, but a lot of your choices affected the politics of the world, and that was more of the driving force. But it's just like, I look at these kind of RPGs as like they're just an excuse. It's like, hey, how can we make our Tumblr fan fiction a game? You make it
Hmm.
what's it called, a CRPG kind of deal, or something like that,
Yeah,
or like, because then they can say that, oh well, it's always been about creativity, it's always been about that freedom, but
they'll
there's
change
such,
the narrative of what it was always gonna be
yeah,
about.
there's
So
so much more of an emphasis about it, because I used to play Baldur's Gate a lot. Like, we talked about it before. I tried to get you to play Dark Alliance with me, but it wasn't working. I don't know if you remember, but it
yeah, I
stopped
remember.
working. But Baldur's Gate, like, I used to like those games a lot, and then I saw Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm like, why is there such a heavy emphasis on like fucking licking toes and fucking bears and shit? And I'm like, what
Right.
is this? Like,
Yeah. When did this
so
become a thing, right?
it's
So
basically like
they're gonna
Tumblr
do that
fan
with
fiction.
Dragon Age. It's gonna be
Yeah, yeah.
like an emphasis on something else now. That's gonna be pretty that's gonna promote degeneracy and confusion and all that.
And also just also their
they're gonna
fetishes.
yeah,
And
that
also
too.
just their fetishes.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a game that they can explore their, like, the kind of things that it's basically a licensed game where they can explore their fan fiction and their like their pseudo
Weird
erotica.
kinks.
Hello there.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up,
They're weird.
Reborn?
What's up,
Yeah,
Reborn? But like they're weird kinks and
I'm
stuff.
fine.
So that's how I look at it as. I mean, like, and like, with Mass Effect always had romancing women as well. I mean, romancing characters.
Hold on.
So any game that's like an RPG where you can do that now, that's taking a strong emphasis, because they're diversity hires obsessed with sex and gender. These are the people that are writing the story. So before, instead of the story being mainly based on fantasy and like the adventure, and the choices being based more around your adventure, now it's based on, oh, who can I stick my pixelated fucking penis in? You know what I mean? So
But my thing is also one of the things I'm kind of tired of with a lot of these modern RPGs, the aesthetics. Has there been any recent games that had a Renaissance era look, like something from Germany? Have you seen those villages in Germany where they have those old classic buildings, the taverns, and
yeah,
individuals like the Lance Lake, right? Those German
like
mercenaries, the giant swords.
like
Where
Middle
is
Can,
any
Ages.
game like that?
can I say
Real quick,
something?
Genpachi's you can find him on X under Beard King Art.
Yeah, Beard King Art on X and on
Yeah.
YouTube, Jinpachi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I say something quickly
Anyway,
to
back to
Emerald
what you're
Towers?
saying.
Emerald Towers, like, they don't like straight people around the industry. That's truth. And Revenant, if you scroll down, he's telling an honest opinion there. But I want to say this to Emerald Towers.
No, I
They
saw.
don't want any diverse straight people around the industry. They want them to be excluded, and also they want this to be banned because
Well,
they think
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
like, what is it, straight men, or probably like heterosexual men, or probably heterosexual gay men are dangerous to society. That that's how these lunatics think.
Gay people can't be
And
heterosexual though.
the truth is, even when it came on to the education system and all, they just don't want no man education system at all, bro. It has to be
Well,
female
he- here,
orientated.
but here's the thing though that people don't realize. I don't think it's been talked about enough. It's because they justify it because they've dehumanized what they consider their enemies. You get what I'm saying? So, for example, like they'll say, like, for example, with white people, you have people like you'll see. I mean, everyone here has seen how like it's like become almost blatantly okay to just be straight up racist toward whites now, right?
All the time, yeah, they do it
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
So
constantly.
I'm not trying to paint white people as victims. My point with bringing this up is that it's been normalized to the point where they've dehumanized white people into feeling like it's not racist toward them because of whatever quote unquote oppression, so they deserve it, or this is just revenge for what happened with slaves in the 1800s or whatever. And I know that's a real plain way to put it, but that's pretty much what it is. It's like, well, you guys were slave owners in the past, so that means we can say whatever we want to you, disrespect you, be racist toward you, and you have to sit there and take it, negating the fact that no current white person has owned slaves in this country. Well, there's some weirdo somewhere with like a dungeon, but you know what I mean. Like generally, like
Exactly.
you know what I mean. Like generally, there's no like, slavery has been abolished for years, and most of these generations now have never owned slaves. Their grandparents have never owned slaves, so it's just a
That's
thing
the
where like
thing.
they dehumanize them and they justify it as this is revenge and you deserve it. So
Yeah,
you can't rely on these people to be reasonable. You can't say, oh, this
exactly,
person.
bro. They
These
I
these
they
people have the mindset
to
of
calm you around and
screaming at
make
a
you feel
5-year-old
guilty.
over
Yeah,
slavery.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
and Jim Patrick can say the thing. Even what bothered them, even though what is it? Maybe around 3 weeks you can wear like a hat and all that. They got a problem with you wearing a hat. And even though the reminded educations, in rules you don't have to wear a hat. Like it's just you got some stuff want to blatant start on you, and the next minute, when that stuff will create issue and problem, they want to say that you're the bad guy and you're a bad victim,
But
and
yeah,
that's
but
the
but
thing kind of pissed me off though.
but they'll gaslight you too. So like if you say what I just said now, they'll gaslight you and say, oh, well, you can't say it's the same because oppression, places of power doesn't count, racism doesn't count because it's not coming from a position of power. These are all bullshit gaslighting tactics, man. Like
Yeah,
what it really is psychological warfare. And again, like I have no problem against any specific race of people. And again, like I don't consider I'm not white myself, but like it's just a
exactly.
thing where like it's so blatant. And you have like these people are so adamant in like what they believe in that there is no reasonable negotiation to be had outside of shut up, fuck you, like you're a bitch, like you tell. And what I mean by that is like it's not necessarily fighting them, but you're stopping it from getting traction. But the problem is that so many Europeans and white people have been conditioned into feeling guilty or into feeling like, or have been gaslit into believing this shit, that they don't repel it.
Exactly.
They don't
I'm
fight
black
it.
too.
And black people too, and they don't fight back. They don't say no, what you're saying is fucking racist, and have that energy of stopping it. But because they've been conditioned to believe, like what we were saying before, like, oh, you can't be racist to white people, oh, it's not coming from a position of power, it doesn't negate that it's racism. So for an example, I saw a video where there was a bunch of younger black kids. They were jumping a mentally handicapped white person, and they were like, beating the shit out of this kid and calling him white boy, but that wasn't tried as a hate crime, despite the constant bombardment of racial terms thrown at him, right?
Bro,
But if you switch the situation around, of course it'll be tried as a hate crime. So I think that there's a thing where like there's just this disconnect, and I don't think enough people are calling it out for what it is. And again, I'm not saying that from a position of me being white. It's just a reality of it, that if they don't stop that, it's going to keep on gaining ground until
society been destroyed or burned to bits, bro.
or
Because
until they themselves become just a new oppressed class, where in the sense of like, you're treating white people as a subclass, right? Because
yeah,
50 years from now, the economic and racial makeup of this country is going to be entirely different, right? So again, I'm not advocating any group is above anyone else, but I think that racism is racism, and these people,
Yeah,
like
it
I
is.
said,
No matter what.
it's just racism is
Any race
racism no
can be
matter what.
racist. So
Yeah, and it's just that like
people got to
people are
stop believing the lie that only one group can experience it while the other can't.
I would say
and
this
just and
because
just to, and
I
just
experienced from
What
every
that is
different.
a victim mentality.
well,
Yeah,
and just also to stop the conditioning, because younger generations of kids are growing up thinking like that, right? It's
yeah,
like, again, no one here knows somebody that has owned slaves. I haven't met a white
Mhm.
person that has owned slave. My parents have never met a white person that owned slaves. My grandparents have never met people that have
that's true.
owned slaves. So again, this is like a narrative that's being carried over to gaslight and to condition people, and a lot of it is Marxism. And
Mhm.
if people don't speak
Like
up,
Black Lives Matter.
if people say something, it's like, no, you're being a fucking racist prick, and slapping them in the face the same way a black person would if they felt like something was racist, and
Hey,
saying no,
but
and doing something about it, then it's gonna keep going down.
can I
That's
say
just where
something?
we're at.
Can I tell you something though? Let's be honest. Even though you don't know, out there and don't run, and if you prove your points right, they will find a way to give problem, or maybe try to exclude you and try to like put you down in history that, oh, you're just a bad guy, or you're just da 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 misogynist and all that, and you try to take them out accountable, which you ain't. You ain't done harm, and also what is it? You got bad black teachers want to pick on most black men. They disagree with the strong points, and if you and what they want to do, they want to create issue with this person, even though this black person can be innocent, but they just want to go aggressive and all that type of shit. And you ain't done nothing wrong, and
People just need to adopt the Harada "fuck you" mentality. You say something
yeah,
Pretty
stupid,
much, yeah.
I don't have to play ball with it. You say some racist shit, I'm gonna tell you to go fuck yourself. Like, if people start doing that, this shit will end. Because again, like there's a saying, what was it? Confidence without strength is useless, and strength without confidence is also useless, right? So you need to be
Mhm.
strong enough to defend your points, whether it be physically or mentally and spiritually. And
Yep.
you also have to be strong enough to be able to say what you feel and do the right thing without being afraid of the backlash. Because again, like, the reason why this shit has been going down is because people are afraid to speak up and call it out for what it is. So again, confidence is nothing without strength, and strength is nothing without confidence. And it just bothers me, because I feel like it's a
saying
thing
to
that
me, bro.
it bothers me, because people deep down know it's true, and they're so afraid of being mobbed or ganged up on that they allow
Being
themselves to
perceived
stay
a certain way.
silent.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that's the thing, bro. And that's
Mhm.
the damn thing. Even though, what is it? I'm gonna be real. I don't like the fact they come to DEI around school. They
Oh
try
snap!
to
I'm
impact
actually
it.
in here. Good evening, everyone.
Oh, what's
Oh,
up,
So I
Spirit?
thought I was in
hey
the
What's up,
I
Spirit,
thought I
Spirit?
what's
was in
up?
the back room. All good.
Yeah,
The
Hello,
come
master
over,
of
come over
everyone.
here.
paradox.
But even though they always want to gaslight you, like you're probably you're the victim, but you ain't done nothing. But they still want to punish you in a way. And plus, what is it? Um, what is it? I think I've always been, positive, straight positive. I ain't got like this damn my stuff want to like start me. I say no, you ain't gonna start me. So I have to like take myself out of the situation. Because
And
Right. But
well, bringing
let's
things back to
pivot
Dragon
back
Age.
to the
Yeah.
Dragon Age.
Well, I was gonna say, bringing it back to Dragon Age. That's
Yeah.
why I mentioned this stuff, because like, you see like these characters now. You see the trailer. You see like,
yeah,
what we were talking about before, and it's more of a thing of like, well, it's almost like the game industry is saying this is the new gaming industry.
white people, men, you're not part of the club. So fuck off and play something else. Because if you want to play games, you're gonna have to deal with this new normal. That's
But
kind of like the sense I get. And I think Dragon Age, the Veilguard, the reason why we went into this conversation in the first place,
yeah,
I think is a great example of how that game kind of represents that. And as
Yep.
far as that,
Oh.
as far as that hip, he said that hip said stop apologizing. Yeah, I'm saying like I'm sorry, but I really don't give a fuck. Like fuck those people. They can kiss
yeah,
my
but
ass.
hey, Jump Party, can I say this? Let me tell you this. Jump Party Reverend, listen, because the thing that really pissed me off Western, if you take a look at Capcom don't hide things. They rather show what the community want, what audience want, what they want throughout the next year for characters. Do they want attractive men or attractive women around the video game industry, or they want toned down men or toned down
With
women
the
around
survey,
the game? Yeah. Even though if you take a look, it shows you how much, you know, I'm not being disrespectful, how much male artists do play this game and not a lot of women. But the thing Western, they trying their best to butch it out and trying to say, hey, 40% of women don't 40% women own Xbox game, 42% women own PC games. And they're
Most
not
normal
the tr-
most normal women don't give a fuck though. You know, most normal women don't care. They actually prefer sexy
exactly.
women.
yeah.
The people on Twitter that are loud about this stuff, and the people on that are in even in the game industry, like these feminists and shit, they represent a super small part of the overall female population. And I guarantee you, most women would rather play with a character like Eve from Stellar Blade than one of these manly ass looking women.
Exactly, bro. But the thing that, yeah, exactly.
Well,
We all
but
see
let's get back
bro.
to Dragon Age because don't want to get off topic too much.
All right.
Did as far as Reborn and Spirit of Paradox, any of you guys seen the trailer or the gameplay trailer? Either
Guys,
the reveal
this
trailer or the
Western, it's
gameplay
the
trailer.
same thing. All
What
over again.
Veilguard?
Yeah, of Veilguard, Dragon Age.
Yeah, it looks like Fortnite.
Yeah, it really does.
It has that Fortnite graphic look, and I don't know. It just doesn't really seem like it was for me personally.
Exactly, Spirit. Like me and you said before, it's the same exact thing they want to give, like this type of system around the the mainstream media. The media just want to give you this type of shit. And I once we
Real
Yeah, I
quick,
kind of
hear you, but
so
it's
I
like
know you're waiting in the backstage on the stream. The limit is 6 people, so I'll try to switch it out.
Okay,
But
hold
we
on.
might be wrapping
Okay,
things up soon. So
okay,
what was that?
actually, I'm gonna actually step out. Thank you for letting me on the show, and yeah. So I'm gonna step out, let somebody else in, and y'all take care.
Thanks for
All
coming
right.
on, man.
take
We
care,
appreciate
buddy.
it.
Coming on again, Octo Commander. Appreciate
Yep,
you.
All
yep.
right,
Always
thank
good.
you.
Always good having you on, man.
Likewise. Later.
See
yeah,
you, man.
peace.
Take it easy, man.
Take it easy. Like I said, like
What's up,
you,
God PK11?
oh yeah, Revenant and Jump Party. Like I said, we came on a situation, and let's not damn lie here. You see how much the mainstream media, the gaming mainstream media tried their best saying that all the fan divide. Ain't no damn fan divide. Throughout, you know, the shit ass, you know, Shadows Creed. Ain't no divide, bro. It's majority people
To,
not liking
to
this game.
me, it just didn't look like Dragon Age.
Exactly.
That's what I felt too.
It
It just
don't. It don't.
like it
Yeah.
looked like a Fortnite medieval game. Like the
Mm-hmm.
graphics design, it just looked really cartoony. And I
Mhm.
was honestly not thinking it was Dragon Age until the title popped up. So
Well, it
Yeah.
was
True,
cookie cutter
homie.
bullshit. Cookie cutter
Even
bullshit.
even the comments were pointing that out.
Yeah. And you,
and I'm seeing people with like some modern day clothing, and I'm like, what kind of Dragon Age is this?
Yeah.
and gameplay too.
It's Dragon Gauge. Emphasis
Like
on gay.
Yeah.
different gates and what is it? Young Shea trying his best to simp for that game, and he's damn
Oh, he
playing
is.
hard.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't follow him, so I don't know what he did. But did you what do you guys think of the gameplay that they showed? I think they showed it like the next day or later in the week or whatever. But
Copycat,
I didn't see much
It-
of the gameplay. I just saw
copycat,
the
bro,
trailer.
copycat.
It just looks generic to me. It just looks
It's
like the
copycat.
kind of
That's
generic,
the
the
thing.
generic gameplay I expect from like a modern soulless game, like this particular one.
yeah, it really does. Like what
Well,
because what they were showing, it looks so like repetitive, and they're like saying like it was a couple hours within the game and all that, and I'm like, to me, it gives me the vibe it's gonna have less RPG mechanics, and it's just gonna it looks like it's trying to be very cinematic and like throw all these set pieces in there, opposed to really giving you real player freedom and actually
Yeah,
being able to role play
another movie
and
game.
like like all these like colorful like colors everywhere. Like they got like these like purple like glowing enemies that look so off-putting, and it's just and even
Because
visually it looks very similar to Inquisition. It doesn't look that impressive to me visually. Maybe
yeah,
it was the area that they were in, but it also seemed like it was like some fake Avengers or like Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's like how the characters were acting and what they had to do and how the music was, the
Marvel
choice for
humor,
music.
Marvel
Yeah,
writing,
Marvel humor. Yeah, the dialogue, how it
Yeah.
was. It just that
the
it didn't come
Joss Whedon
across.
special.
Yeah, it didn't even come across as a dark fantasy that Dragon Age was known for. It just seems like some like cartoony fantasy Fortnite like upbeat type of thing. It's like even though it was trying to like sell you on like, all right, like if the character's soulless, he does, if he's able to execute his plans, then the world is basically doomed. And it's like I don't really get the feeling that you know the the stakes that are there. Like it
What do you
doesn't
mean the
seem
humor
like
ruined the stakes? What do you mean
yeah,
making jokes
yeah
and
yeah
being
guys,
and quipping
Jinpachi Revenant,
ruins the
listen.
intensity?
Guys, Jinpachi Revenant, listen. Like, what they want to do? They just want to copy like the damn ass, assets from each and every open RPG game. They're trying their best to like have like the same third person shooter, and I did no, not third person shooter, like third person open RPG, just like this game called Babylon, which Square Enix like announced, and they're trying to
Babylon's
like, they,
Fall.
yeah, they're trying to like
That failed, yeah.
capture the same image as them, and
But
when you look at the gameplay, it's still us. I'm sorry, it's
that's what I was saying before, that they saw the success of Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm telling you the emphasis will likely be on character relationships.
yeah,
Like I think that's really what they're gonna emphasize, like the
yeah,
role playing involving like character romancing and stuff like that, and like the gameplay will be like more secondary, because
yeah,
again, like Baldur's Gate 3 and Dragon Age can fill a similar niche, even though the gameplay is different, but it can
yeah,
fill a similar niche. And I think like when you look at the art style and like how they've changed things and whatnot, it's clear that they're probably going to go deeper down that route. I mean, look at the cast
Mhm.
of characters they showed in the trailer.
Even the box art. I don't know if any of you seen like what the box art look like. It's like
hey,
a bright purple background with like a dragon, but then like on the wings it has like the characters like having like the like mid attack, like they got the arrow, the bow and arrow, the sword out and whatever. It looks like some like hero shooter type of game,
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
some like upbeat like fantasy movie or something. I don't know. It's again, it
Well,
just doesn't seem like Dragon Age at all. It's like
yeah.
wearing a skin suit of what it was.
And don't be surprised if if it's watered down to the point where it's piss easy, like every other RPG or action game has become, where all the depth is lost.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, that's even been happening in the fighting games where I was explaining to you Tekken 8, because I know like we were talking about it, and I was explaining how like they've made the game so easy to play that it kind of removed the skill expression and creativeness of creative nature of the game, because now like the game kind of like does a lot of things that plays itself. I think that also applies to like RPGs and just the genre, like different genres as a whole. They're games
Yeah,
that are meant for
they're always finding
everybody,
ways to put crutches, like
and
God
the
of War
crutch.
Ragnarok with the puzzles for
Mhm.
people.
And the crutches are because they know not every player can master those games. Why you ever see like the constant bombardment of people asking for easy mode in Dark Souls kind of games, for
Yeah, all
example?
the time.
It's
all
like
the
if
time.
you're asking for an easy mode in that game, you probably shouldn't even be playing it. To be frank, you might have
Yeah,
more fun playing something else. A game shouldn't
yeah,
have to
some games
sacrifice
are
its
for
identity
everyone.
for
You have
new
to understand.
players.
For real.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think that happened to Tekken. Sadly, I think Tekken was not a game that was for everyone, and they're trying to push it toward. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
bringing that up just
definitely.
as
I
an
think
example.
that's the case with a lot of fighting games nowadays.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like it's like your Tekken was such a. I always considered Tekken like the Dark Souls of fighting games, and when I was playing it, I was like, wow. So they made the game this piss easy. Like, it's like where's the
Yeah.
skill expression? And I think like
Yeah.
that's most games now. So I think with Dragon Age,
Yeah,
don't be
for
surprised
real.
if
Yeah,
the game
yeah.
plays
You
itself.
see the people that
It's
that's
just
in the
nice
studio.
game.
You think they're hardcore gamers like that they really
No,
want to
they're
rack their
not.
brain around something. They don't want to solve a puzzle. They don't want to spend. They want to keep trying 10 or 50 times trying to beat a boss and trying to think of different strategies. This is going to make it painstakingly easy because they just they want to make sure people can experience the story they're trying to tell, which is just going to be some Tumblr fan fiction.
Exactly my point from before.
Exactly,
It's
bro.
exactly
But
that. So I think like I don't, but to be honest, I like I said earlier, I was never like a hardcore Dragon Age fan. So even if this game was like phenomenal, I probably wouldn't like get it day one. It would be something I play like when it's way cheaper. To be frank, like, but again, like, that doesn't negate the criticism of it. Like, it's pretty obvious like that's what they're gonna do. Because like Baldur's Gate 3, I'm
Yeah.
much more into Baldur's Gate, for example. But when I saw what they did, I was like, I'm not buying this shit.
Yeah, that's how I felt too.
I'll be damned if I pay for this game. Melina, do you have any thoughts on it? Did she give her thoughts already
On Dragon
No.
Age? No.
on Dragon Age?
Honestly, there's not much I could give. I know of the Dragon Age games, but I've never been interested in them like that. But it's very interesting to hear you guys' like point of view on it and experience. But that's
Okay.
unfortunate for
Yeah.
nobody being fans are not pleased with the trailer and the gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was actually a fan of the series. I didn't finish Inquisition because it just felt like it went on forever. And I was trying to play it on 360, but it kept crashing because they didn't want to optimize it on there for whatever reason. But that's
Yeah.
neither here nor there. But I kind of checked out after that. Then, I was pretty much done with BioWare, like not long after that, because I was seeing like the people that they had at their studios and how they were doing with their games and all that. So
You know what's the best
even
thing?
if the game really looked good, I would have avoided it. But I kind of figured
I
it would
think
be
the-
ass.
It's just
And
I think-
ass, to be
you know.
honest.
I think the best thing is when another company that has like it's like that game Power World, where it's like you have fans of Pokemon
yeah.
clearly, and then they make their own game, and their own game kind of is like it doesn't have the it hasn't been poisoned yet by like corporations and DEI, so like it's more of its own, like it more has like the older identity of the series, right? So like
Right.
or like what, like even though it doesn't play like Pokemon like that, but you know what I mean, like the designs and stuff. Or like
Yeah.
or like Stellar Blade, where Stellar Blade was made by people that were more passionate and like it's still a big company, but like
Like,
much more
it has like the
new
essence of older games like
of
that.
older
Yeah,
games.
that's true.
Yeah. So it's like what would have been like a person might like Devil May Cry, but Devil May Cry, even though I actually like the series still, but let's say Devil May Cry goes in a direction like that they don't like, then another guy is like, well, I'm gonna make a Devil May Cry game the way I used to remember Devil May Cry, and it's their new IP. I think that's like the direction that those kind of games usually have more soul and like are the better direction to go in. It doesn't always work out, like Callisto Protocol, which I heard had a lot of problems, but still,
Yeah, I heard that too.
but still, like, there's gonna be one day, like with Tekken 8, there's like the game came out the way it is. I think that another dev is gonna say, I like Tekken, but I don't like Tekken now, so I'm gonna make my own fighting game that plays like Tekken used to. I think that's gonna be the future of like where gamers gravitate to, and I think the mainstream slop like is gonna eventually just die out because people aren't gonna be buying and
Yeah.
playing it. They're gonna be playing the alternatives.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
that's
kind of
true.
seeing
But
it anyway with like
but can I
some
say
games being like
something
good
though?
alternatives. Like an example would be like Greedfall. Like that's like it kind of it reminds a lot of people of like the older Dragon Age games, and it actually is a really good game. If anyone's interested in the game,
Yeah.
I hope the second one is good because the last trailer they showed, I was not feeling it, especially the character they showed off and the way they looked. But
Yeah.
you know, if all goes well there, then you know there's an alternative to that. There's also Kingdom Come Deliverance, or you know the new one that's coming out too.
Or
So,
Metro
you know,
Exodus.
yeah, that too. Yeah,
That's older, but
that's
it's still
another
a good
example of
alternative. Yeah.
yeah, or even
So
Atomic Heart. You know,
mhm.
games like that that may remind you of like something like Fallout
Bio
or
or
BioShock or
Bioshock.
maybe
Yeah.
or Dragon Age or whatever the game may be. Like there are pretty good alternatives like Tormented Souls is like a good like Silent Hill or like Resident Evil type of alternative or Daymare.
Daymare.
You
Yeah.
know,
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that
games like
game is
that.
great.
yeah, so there's gonna be fans that are gonna end up forming their own companies, and like even with comic books and graphic novels, like I said, I don't really care for it, but
Art too, yeah.
Eric July made something people like. It's an alternative, right? Because people aren't reading the mainstream comic books. They want something that's more like the old stuff. So even though
Yeah,
it's not for
it,
me, I'm glad that alternative is doing well for Eric July, for example.
yeah.
So
But can I say something to you guys? Even though what is it Xbox, even though Xbox gonna like do probably like Doom and Metal Gear, and even though personally I'm glad Metal Gear Solid Delta like stay true through the original, you know, their assets. But meanwhile, when it came onto these Western artists that we gotta deal with, they don't know how to show up nowadays. I think like basically they just want everybody to stay in this like trap bubble with them and also with their thought and their belief. And it's getting so tight at this point, bro. Just like Ubisoft right now, every company needs to have their thoughts and belief down. What is it? Down our throat. We come to playing the games. And also we came on to characters. They just don't want to like create no damn characters. They just want to inject their face around every heroes or something to just make the characters look so damn purposely, uglified and also portrayed.
I want
And
to
what
read
is
it.
it? And what is it? They got like I can understand how they go, and they got this mentality. Like they always say that, oh, we are like, what is it, loser, insults, and virgin, but they're trying to comply. They're trying to
The
comply
hell?
that to themselves, bro.
They're gonna throw insults at you if you don't agree with them. No matter what you say, they'll throw insults at you. That's why like when people started saying shit like that, I just kind of like already accepted that they have no argument. Like it's like they already kind of defeated themselves. Dad
Yeah,
Hip said he said, remember the journalist that couldn't beat the tutorial of Cuphead? Yeah, like exactly. But
exactly, bro. Them
but
people,
Jun
them
Takahashi
niggas
or
are like
something like that.
so joke to me, bro. Like, what's it?
bro, imagine watching
She can't go against Melanie Mac by boxing, but when three gets call her out, she blocked them like a bitch. But she want like
imagine
damn men
watching
to fight her. No,
imagine watching journalists try to beat Mega Man 11. That should be hilarious.
Jeez.
I would love to see like some
Oh
of
yeah,
these journalists try to beat that game.
we already talked about that Fable trailer. Still
Yeah, it's
looks
an
like ass.
abomination.
it's
Terrible.
ass, bro.
People trying to
Ass.
cope
Fuck
saying,
it.
"Oh, it looks a little better. Oh, it looks better. People complaining.
No, it don't. Sorry,
How y'all feel now? Whatever. Like, nah, it's still the same shit.
it's ass.
Yeah, Emerald Torres said
Man
trying to
face,
appeal to
bro.
Still looks like a man.
Man face.
outsiders and make something I don't care for or doesn't represent me. People
Fucking
are going
disgusting
to
ass
see it.
game.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
honestly want
Yeah,
to
they will.
know who is the direct audience for this. Because when I saw Fable, I was just like, oh, it looks like a cheap UK TV show than a video game.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
You're
Or-
watching
that guy from
watching
Two.
you're watching Monty Python. Monty Python. The
Yeah,
or
Revenant.
just some generic fantasy game. Like it doesn't look like Fable at all. Like nothing about it says Fable.
Like Revenant.
Only thing that
this
says
guy
Fable
from
is the
Doctor
title of the
Who.
game.
More than Doctor Who.
I kind of wish it had more of a cartoony art style like the old ones, to be honest.
Yeah. But
Nah.
you know, they
To
got to
be
go
honest,
for the
they
realism,
don't-
which is fucking
don't
boring
like
and
that one,
ugly.
bro. They don't like that one because what is it? It's basically created by true men, and also every director like fantasy, but these people hate fantasy. I can tell you that. Everything's gotta be around their way, realism or no escapism.
Well,
Simple.
no, they're okay with fantasy and superheroes and all that shit. They just have to look like they do for them to be satisfied.
Pretty
Yeah,
much,
like
yeah.
like I said,
That's what it is.
they want realism, but
But like,
just
it doesn't even make sense, right? Because like you're thinking about like you're playing as like, let's say like Melina from Mortal Kombat. Like if they make her look like a 300-pound journalist, how am I supposed to believe she's flipping around? So I should have realism when they look like when they're a 300-pound journalist with blue hair, but it's not realism when we don't need realism when it comes to actually having to be physically fit to do the attacks they do. So
Right.
that's why I always like laugh. It's like,
I'm getting tired of that bullshit. Everything will be super realism or realistic.
it's like you have like characters like Harley Quinn and Catwoman, and you see that they're doing like gymnastics and all kinds of shit. It's like people have never seen what a real gymnast looks like. So then you have like these like
bro.
you have like this skinny e-girl like fucking college student looking like feminist character version of them, and I'm supposed to believe that they're doing all these gymnastic feats, right? Like get the hell out of here, man.
Bro, I
This is
go
what it
gym.
is.
Fit people are more better trained more than these type of online Twitter fiascos, bro. And even I can't believe it. Like, what is it nowadays? It's like with the acolyte BS right now. No matter what, when like even though critical drinker and also all these type of people, but please stop buying that shit and just wait until release and call it out because you got no time to just watching this type of bullshit. And you know how much they're gonna like say, and you know how
Real
much
quick,
the life gonna say.
cartoon and comic studio. What's gonna happen is they'll probably shut down or they'll lay a number of people off. I don't think it's gonna close down the studio because they also make the Forza games. So they'll probably lay off like that team or majority of that team, and then just have and then Fable will probably be done for good this time. Because I can't envision it doing very well. Like this just screams like modern day Slop that we've seen before. It's gonna be another Suicide Squad, Saints Row reboot.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Soon to be Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah, or soon to be Silent Hill 2 remake. It's like the list goes on and on. Forspoken, Dustborn, like that's what it seems like to me.
These consultancy
here's the thing though,
bro.
But here's the thing with specifically Fable. They don't care about Fable. In their mind, Fable is dead. So it's like I look like I'm pretty confident that the people in charge of this game is like, all right, Fable, what series can we bring back? All right, we're bringing back Fable. Well, Fable's already dead anyway. If this game flops, it'll suck. But the series was basically mostly dead already. So it's kind of like if it fails again, it'll just die permanently. You know what I mean? It's not like a series where they feel like they have to be more careful with. So I think that's why a lot of decision making that they chose made its way into the game. It's like if it fails, it fails. We don't give a fuck because the series was already basically dead anyway.
Yeah,
that's how I think they look at it.
Yeah,
and you'll be surprised. And you'll be surprised how these companies are willing to sacrifice $150 million when $100 million of that was fucking ESG money and investor money. Guess where the investor money comes from? People's 401ks, people's what's it called?
Hit detection too, bro.
What's that? What's it called?
It's a stock.
Not their paycheck. It's like a stock, like a type of stock. It's like a damn, I forgot. But it's basically like a stock where people have money. The money's taken from their check and it's thrown into like random investments. A lot of that goes into ESG shit. So it's like they don't care.
Like,
if I had to bring back a series and I only had to invest like, obviously 50 million is a lot, but that's relatively small for these companies. And then another company is paying me 100 million to fuel the budget. Me as the company making a game, I might want it to be a success, but I'm not going to feel as much pressure. It's like, it's like when you buy, it's like if you buy your own game, right? you feel more pressure to beat it because you spent money on it versus somebody just giving it to you where you're like, all right, I'll play it later or whatever.
That's
So
why I never.
so I think that's their mentality, man. Like, and I think that I think Fable unfortunately was expendable for them.
Yeah. But hey guys, by the way, I'm gonna say this
ETF,
because
yes, ETF fund. That's exactly what it's called. That hip,
yeah,
it's not a money
guys,
ETF fund.
Reverend and Jim Party, by the way, I want to say this. Right now, I'm gonna like, go upstairs and have some and get some sleep, bro. But it's
All
nice
right, man.
speaking to you guys because, like I said, right now I will say this. For example, even though the industry is dying, but they can pump up a lot of these type of shit. Well, we all know it maybe on 3 years or 4 years. Well, they're gonna have to do a change because they can't
Hmm.
keep on going with this type of bullshit like the Western society, bro. They must have to get rid of these type of people. And even though
Yeah.
Spirit of Paradox saying the exact same thing, just like I do, bro, because
Yep.
it's just getting pointless. Like, what is it? The artists getting tired of this type of shit
And
with
support
thoughts and belief.
support indie devs. Support indie devs. That's what
Yeah,
it is. You gotta support the little guys so that they can grow into uncompromised AAA. And if they become compromised, you abandon them and go to another indie dev. It has to be that cycle so that they die out and realize, no, this is wrong. We don't want it.
yeah.
Every time you do this, you're pressing the wrong button and your company will be abandoned. And I think
Uh,
that if that happens enough, then they'll learn and things will
yeah.
change.
And guys, before I go, even though if y'all want to start your own video game company and also develop your game, make sure y'all avoid, what is it? Sweet Baby Inc., but I'd rather call them different names than more than their absolute normal names. But avoid hit detection and also avoid ESG and also avoid the Sweet Baby Inc. Avoid those console company as possible as you can because they will fuck your entire business up and put you down straight to your ground. Like they want to
Right.
like terminate your studio and terminate your business and ruin your life physically. Where they want to see your money drain and and watch y'all go bankrupt. Watching you guys going bankrupt. So if everyone start a video game company, make sure avoid these console company possible can. And even
Yeah.
though if every mainstream media wants to copy the game, decline it. Upload your own YouTube channel and talk about it. That's what I want to see nowadays in gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All
But
right. So, Solo, did you give your thoughts already?
Thoughts on what
Yeah, because
now?
we're about to wrap up.
Yeah.
all right.
On
By the way, see you in a bit.
all right. See
Dragon
you,
Age,
man.
right?
See you.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dragon Age. Yep.
Age.
See you
About
reborn.
that. Yeah, I don't know too. Yeah, I've been. What is it? I don't know too much about Dragon Age. Like, and I haven't played none of that, so I can't really speak on anything I don't know much about.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Did you see the trailer?
I did not see it at all.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
probably
So
check it out after what y'all said.
all right. So fair enough. Fair enough. All right. I mean that. I mean, if you don't
he
know
ain't gonna
about
see it
it,
now.
it's better. It's better not to. That's actually a thing that I wish more people would do. Don't speak about things you don't know if you don't really know the subject or what you're talking about. So I respect that
Mhm.
answer of like he doesn't know about it. Then it's what can you really say?
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But you'll be surprised how many people talk about shit like that they have know nothing about.
Hmm.
Like that. What we call that yapping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yapping. But all right. So all right. I think we hit all the subjects, right?
Yes, we did.
You know what? I want to vote. How many people want to?
actually got to go too. But
How many people
yeah,
want to see Melina Chan stream Resident Evil 5 with me? But
Please vote. I would love to.
yo, you should definitely do that. That'll be mad fun. I'm
Yeah.
serious. I'm 100% serious. I'll message you on X. That should be really really crazy.
Oh
And
yeah,
look,
please.
perfect. You can be Sheva. I can be Chris. Like it's perfect.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly. There you go. Dynamic duo. Mm-hmm.
All right, but yeah, so we basically hit all the subjects, right? So
Yeah, we did.
all right, everybody want to do their outros, or talk about your channel if you have one, if you have like an account, or if you're doing your own thing, let people know so everyone watching could possibly give it a chance. So
Well, I guess I'll go ahead and start because I don't have much to contribute at the moment. It's the same like as my previous little outros. Hi, my name is Melina Chan, and you can follow me here on YouTube, Twitter X, Instagram, Facebook. I'm a passionate artist and gamer, so I do both content. Currently, my socials are under construction because I'm trying to get it all together before I make my big entrance coming back, and to make sure that my names and all that is consistent. And I'll be posting like playing video games. Hopefully, get to play with you guys. That would be honestly such an honor. And I'll be posting artwork of my own like OC ideas that I've had. Ideas that I've had actually when I had that little story, the live before last, where I wanted to work for NetherRealm Studios. I had my own like Mortal Kombat characters that would have felt very well with the story, but since they went downhill, I'm glad I didn't waste it on there, and I'm just gonna do my own thing. And I consider like myself like a jack of all trades. Like I do painting, I do drawing, I do crafts, tattooing, um, a whole bunch of stuff. So it's like you're gonna see a bit of everything, and I'm trying to get it all planned out. So yeah, that's
hey,
pretty
we
much
looking
it.
looking
Sounds
forward
good.
to all of that. Yeah,
Oh, thank
Yep.
you, thank you.
for sure. All right, well,
And
thanks for coming
coming
on.
on again, Melina Chan.
We always
Oh,
say
no
this, but
problem.
Appreciate you.
you're always welcome. Always good to hear
hmm
your perspective, and thanks for having you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you guys for bringing me on ever since I was a day one watcher. I appreciate it so much. You guys have no idea.
No, you're welcome.
For sure, for sure.
Great having you on. Solo, you want to give your outro?
I don't really care for an outro, but I appreciate y'all having me on here, though.
hmm
No, I
And we
appreciate you coming
appreciate
on.
you. Thanks for sharing your opinion, and it's good because people need to be more brave and speak up. So it's always good to have people to hear a real voice and not just see messages, right? So always good to have you on and appreciate it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Spirit of Paradox, your outro.
Yeah. I'm Spirit of Paradox. I make content about comic books and video games. And yeah, thank you for having me on. I've been watching the stream for the last few hours, and it's been very entertaining as always.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on, man. And always good hearing your voice and hearing your perspective. And same to Reborn. Reborn was on earlier,
Yeah.
and Octo Commander,
Commander. Yeah.
and so everyone who
Mm-hmm.
comes on, we appreciate it because people need to see that real people might think the same way that they do, and then they might feel
hmm
confident in speaking up as well. So we appreciate
Exactly.
it.
Real
Gamer
quick,
Wody,
shout out. Yeah, I was gonna get to him. Shout
yeah,
out to
because
Gamer
Gamer Wody,
Wardy.
thanks for joining in.
Yeah.
And I gotta say it because he joined. Gamer Wody, I gotta hit him with that. Thanks for coming in, but yeah, we're about to close out, man. But we hope to
But
see you on the
you can
next
watch
one.
the replay. You can
Yeah,
watch
watch the replay. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
appreciate
for
you
sure,
stopping by regardless. So
for
hope
sure.
all's well. And thank you all for checking out the podcast this week. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm gonna try to work on that video about remakes. I know I've been fucking putting it off for a while unintentionally, but I'm gonna try to get it out this week. Hopefully it's good. And yeah. So
Yeah,
Jim Pachi, you
definitely.
want to do your outro before we officially head out?
Yes. So, I'm an animator. I make a lot of videos, like gameplay videos. I stream. Um, Currently, I made a Suicide Squad animation where I kind of like undid the ending. It has over 1 million views, so check that out if you haven't. I have my own original series I'm working on. Episode 1 is up. There'll be more in the future, and I do a lot of gameplay stuff as well. So check out my channel if you want to. If not, that's cool too.
I don't mean to
And
interrupt you, but I just want to answer I am Xmob. On my channel where the section where it says live, it'll be under live. So once the stream ends, you can go to on the it has like home or video and then live. And I think it also has a section where you can click on for a community, for like community posts. You'll see it on the live. So if you want to, you can check out the replay of it and past podcast live. I mean, on the live section. On my channel.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. So that was basically it, man. That was basically my outro. If you want, check it out. If not, that's cool too. And yeah, thanks for everyone for coming in and tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Yep.
Right.
Peace
Good
out,
night.
guys.
See ya. Have a good one,
Have
everybody.
a good night.